was a first ever for the New York Yankees. El Duque started and got a win, while Andy Pettitte followed and looked sharp for 3 innings. Then, with a 6-1 lead, Mariano Rivera turned it on in the ninth. And when it was over, the men in pinstripes became the first ever American League team to enjoy 112 wins in a season. A remarkable night for a remarkable team that has 2 more games to play with Tampa Bay. A 20th win has eluded David Cone recently, and he'll start in this game. Depending on how things go, maybe he'll get there, and maybe Bernie Williams can help him. Is the network for New York Yankees baseball, and we welcome you returning. Shit. Sorry. Go with this. For New York Yankees baseball, and today with only 2 games to go, it's the Yankees and the Tampa Bay Devil Rays in the most historic place in sports. Terrell Wade will start for the Tampa Bay team, still looking for its first ever win in the Bronx, while the Yankees will try to see if they can get David Cone a 20th win. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Al Trowick. Welcome to our coverage of the 1998 New York Yankees here on MSG. Yesterday, just another one of the special nights that we have shared with this team throughout this very successful season. No American League team prior to last night had recorded a 112th win, as we mentioned moments ago, and the Yankees were able to come through for El Duque early. A big inning, Derek Jeter providing one of the highlights. He got hits numbers 200 and 201. That's a landmark for any hitter. And then Mariano Rivera came in and closed it out. The Yankees won the ball game 6-1. And there stands Joe Torre, all alone, atop all the teams that in all the years that have tried to beat the 1954 Cleveland Indians. Still the 1906 Cubs, but that's the National League mark. The Yankees record is now 112-48. with 2 games to go. And to talk about game number 161, let's go upstairs to Jim Cott and Ken Singleton. Guys?
Well, thanks a lot, Al. What can we talk about? What more can this team do? Maybe there's a couple of items of unfinished business. Bernie Williams still trying to win the batting title, and David Cone gets a chance to win his 20th game.
Well, we saw El Duque go 5 innings last night and pick up a victory, number 12 on the year. Maybe the same thing can happen to David Cone this afternoon. David Cone's had an outstanding year, looking for win number 20, as Kitty mentioned. And you go back to an earlier stretch this season, David Cone had a stretch where he won 9 consecutive decisions. He had excellent pitching during that time. In one of those contests, he had 13 strikeouts against the Florida Marlins in interleague play, and David Cone trying to cap off a tremendous season, one in which he's bounced back from shoulder surgery.
Who would have thought with that surgery he would have gone over the 200 inning mark, 201 strikeouts, and if he wins 20 games today, it would be an all-time record. 10 years since David Cone won 20 games for the Mets. So his final tune-up for Game 3 of the Division Series. We'll have it for you on MSG when we come back.
New York Yankees baseball is brought to you by the irresistible taste that makes you say, did somebody say McDonald's? By American Express. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, American Express helps you do more. By Jeep, the most award-winning brand of 4x4s on earth. And by Nobody Beats the Wiz Home Entertainment Centers.
Welcome to late afternoon baseball at Yankee Stadium. David Cone in search of his 20th win, and we want to take this opportunity to welcome our St. Louis audience. Bonus coverage provided by FX, and I know you're used to seeing records set in St. Louis with Mark McGwire's home run outburst this year. The Yankees last night an all-time American League record of 112 wins, so they will look for their 113th win today. David Cone for his 20th. And here's the Tampa Bay Devil Ray lineup that has been posted, brought to you by Bob Stores. Great buys on brands you wear. Quentin McCracken, Aaron Ledesma, Bobby Smith at the top. Then the veteran Fred McGriff will DH today. Bubba Trammell, Paul Sereno, Rich Butler, Miguel Cairo, and John Flaherty bats tonight.
Offensively for the Yankees this afternoon, behind David Cone here at the stadium, it's going to be Brocious, Jeter, Knobloch, and Martinez. No surprises in the infield. In the outfield, it's going to be Spencer Williams and O'Neill. Girardi doing the catching, as he always does for David Cone. As we're going to look at the young man out in left field, Shane Spencer, who's been quite a surprise with the bat, to say the least. We speculated that has there ever been a rookie who's won Player of the Month,
or Player of the Week, or World Series MVP, or something like that? But we were kind of fantasizing before the game today that if the Yankees would go to the World Series and play the Houston Astros, and the Yankees would have to look at Randy Johnson, Shane Spencer could suddenly become quite a force in the World Series. Remarkable year for David Cone, coming off that surgery, and for the first time since 1993, he's gone over the 200 inning mark with a strikeout per inning. And just from a business note standpoint, that 200 innings assures his contract for 1999 with the Yankees. He will be on a pitch count today. Joe Torre, Mel Stottlemyre would love to have him work a nice economical 5 innings and get an opportunity to win 20. But if that doesn't happen, they will keep the pitch count down. He will come back on Friday night against either the Cleveland Indians or Texas Rangers. That spot's still up for grabs.
Yeah, they'd like to see him have the same kind of performance that Orlando Hernandez El Duque had last night, picked up a win.
That's high for a ball to Quentin McCracken. Nice year in this inaugural season for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. 7 homers, 59 RBIs. High again, 2-0.
Well, right away you see late afternoon here, getting into fall, and the shadows come into play here at the stadium. And it might be a little difficult for the hitters to pick up the ball, at least for the first few innings.
It is a dreadful starting time from a player's standpoint. Television doesn't look at it that way, but we saw what happened to Brant Brown. He didn't make an excuse, but in Milwaukee, late afternoon, the fall sun, boy, it can give outfielders some problems.
And the same thing for Shane Spencer. You can see he has the sunglasses on. It's not the flip kind. They're just on.
Yeah, that's the tough field right now. O'Neill's in shadows in right. Breaking ball popped up. Brocious had difficulty finding that one. Girardi near the Tampa Bay dugout puts it away. There's an example of it. Scott Brocious barely saw that ball come off the bat. Let's check out our umpire lineup today, brought to you by NAM, National Arbitration and Mediation. Most timely, cost-effective way to settle your legal disputes. Brian O'Nora's behind the plate. John Shulak, Rick Reed, and Tim Cheetah. Each one will get a chance to umpire behind the plate in this series, as it is a 4-gamer. Here's the ex-Met, Aaron Ledesma. In for a strike. Don't know where his loyalty is, but his Mets are down to their last inning in Atlanta, trailing 4-0. Breaking ball high, 1-1.
And David Cone's had one start this year against the Devil Rays, and he beat them in Florida on July the 11th. An excellent outing.
Good breaking ball there, 1-2.
8 innings, 8 strikeouts, only 3 hits. The Yankees won 2-0. And Mariano Rivera came on and got the save in that game.
Mentioned last night that Andy Pettitte may not have been pitching to the weaknesses of the Tampa Bay lineup as much as just being comfortable with his own pitches, and I think that's the way David Cone will approach this. Just missed, 2-2. As a pitcher, you just want to make sure, and Andy referred to this in our post-game coverage with Al Troutwig, you want to make sure that you've thrown all your pitches, you feel good about that, about the stuff being there and the control. Missed again. The count is full. Still no official word from Joe Torre, but it appears that Andy Pettitte would start game 2 of the division series after Wells starts game 1. Got him on that sharp breaking ball. Ledesma down on strikes. 2 down in the Tampa Bay first.
2 fastballs in, followed by a breaking ball and a strikeout for David Cone. One of the things we've noted all season long is breaking ball has been outstanding and very tough on right-handed hitters. This is going to look like the previous two pitches until it just gets to that corner, then breaks away, and Ledesma is struck out. Yeah, this is about as close as you can get to a spring training game and have it count.
Bobby Smith takes strike one. Count for David Cone and for Bernie Williams. He'd like to win that batting title. From a team standpoint, the Yankees have set the record. There's no way they're going to catch the 1906 Cubs. 1-1 to Smith. Devil Rays impressed with his ability at third base. Good athlete, just having a tough time making consistent contact. Excellent throwing arm. Towards second base. Knobloch is there. He'll toss out Bobby Smith, and David Cone has a very economical 1-2-3 inning. Yankees coming to bat against lefty Terrell Wade when we come back to the stadium.
They look unstoppable.
Hit deep to right. A grand slam home run for Bernie Williams.
The Yanks wrap up the regular season against the Devil Rays at the New York City Marriott Scorecard tomorrow on MSG.
Plenty of banners, lots of Yankee fans in this late afternoon 161st game of the season. What a season it's been for the Yankees. Yeah, best team on the planet. Certainly as Paul O'Neill said on our scorecard show, as we selected him our Yankee of the Year, when they look back in 10 years at what this team has accomplished, it will have a special place in baseball history. Big Terrell Wade, 6'3", 205 pounds, ex-Atlanta Brave that the Devil Rays picked up. He has missed most of the season after some arm surgery. Here's the lineup he'll face, brought to you by Bob Stores. Chuck Knobloch, Derek Jeter, Paul O'Neill. Bernie Williams trying to hang on to his lead in the batting race. Tino Martinez, Chili Davis, and the hot-hitting Shane Spencer batting seventh, and Scott Brocious and Joe Girardi.
Let's check out the Devil Rays on defense. In the infield, it's going to be Smith, Ledesma, Cairo, and Sorrento. In the outfield, Trammell, McCracken, and Butler. John Flaherty behind the plate for Terrell Wade. Paul Sorrento is highlighted. It's the first time we've seen him at first base. It's been Fred McGriff, but McGriff will be DHing this afternoon. Semi-day off for the veteran.
Chuck Knobloch steps in. In Minnesota, when he came up, they called Paul Sorrento the Babe because he can turn on a fastball as well as anyone. That's in for a strike, but as is the case here in Tampa Bay, and when he was at Cleveland and Seattle, he is known more for his hitting than his fielding ability. There's the line on Wade. You can see he's missed most of the season. Started a couple games in Durham, their AAA team, but he pitched 5 innings and picked up a win in his last start.
Yankee fans might remember Terrell Wade from the World Series in 1996. Made 2 appearances for Atlanta against the Yankees. Mentioned the shoulder surgery this year. He's had elbow surgery in the past, so maybe this guy will be a late bloomer, start to come on now that his arm is healthy.
He's 25 years old. He was 5-0 with the Braves in 1996, but with all the pitching they had, there just wasn't room for him, and Tampa Bay was able to pick him up in the expansion draft. Field's going to drop in for a base hit. Good start for Chuck Knobloch, who got shut out in last night's ball game.
Well, Chuck made some fans happy. Got that sign together, bring it out to the ballpark, hoping they could use it. And right for the first inning, Knobloch dumps one into left field for a base hit, and he's aboard for Derek Jeter. Speed on first. Speed at the plate.
One of our top candidates for Yankee of the Year certainly was Derek Jeter because of those numbers, the batting average, home runs, RBIs, as well as his ability to play shortstop and the speed he brings to the lineup. Toward Ledesma. This should be an easy 2, and it is. Hit sharply, and the Devil Rays turn the double play. 2 quick outs here in the Yankee first.
Wade was known with the Braves more as a strikeout pitcher than a double play pitcher. Surgeries, elbow and shoulder. One-time Brave 5th starter, coming off a win in his only start this year. So Terrell Wade might be a part of this Devil Ray rotation next year, or get a good shot in spring training.
Along with Rolando Arrojo, if he comes back from arm injuries. That's the way the Devil Rays have built their team in the first year, trying to concentrate on pitching. Here is our MSG Yankee of the Year, Paul O'Neill. Sharply towards second base. Cairo is there. Didn't even get a chance to talk about all his accomplishments, but we will. He'll have another at bat. One quick inning here at Yankee Stadium. No score. David Cone in quest of his 20th. Back after this.
With the update, and the Mets don't control their own destiny anymore. They desperately needed a win, and they don't get it. Here's the final out. Todd Hundley goes down swinging. The Mets are shut out by Atlanta 4-0, and the Giants are leading the Rockies 6-1. Let's go back to
Thanks for that update, Deb, as Fred McGriff takes strike one from David Cone. So the Mets will be down to their last gasp tomorrow, with the Giants a comfortable lead over Colorado 6-1. Cubs and Astros just underway. 1-1 to the veteran Fred McGriff.
I don't know how much of a comfortable lead you could have at Coors Field.
Isn't that the truth? That's outside. 2-1. You saw the home run total, 19. If McGriff gets one today or tomorrow, that would put him in a pretty select group with 20 home runs in 12 consecutive seasons. Looked like the splitter. And Cone ahead in the count, 1-2.
Well, McGriff trying to close off the year on a hot streak. Had a 7-game hitting streak snapped in last night's ball game.
Good swing there, fouled straight back. And it's still 2-2.
McGriff and, of course, Wade Boggs bringing a veteran presence to this team, and some guys who had some solid numbers in the past. And both have had pretty good years.
Cone thought he might have had that one. A little low, said Brian O'Neill, and the count is full. Boggs average at 280, and he's 78 hits shy of the 3,000 mark.
Here's a look at that last pitch, going for the back door.
Got him with that one. Looked like the good splitter. Cone off to a good start here. Has retired the first 4 Devil Rays, and that's his second strikeout.
Well, we talked about David Cone working on all his pitches, and all of them are quality types. There's a splitter down and away. You saw a breaking ball before that, had a lot of bite to it. So his quality breaking balls, along with a fastball that he gets up there 91, 92 miles an hour, and plus keeping the ball down, that's what has made a Cone effective all season long.
And the first pitch to Bubba Trammell. He's been DH. Today he plays left field and takes ball 1. On the edge, 1-1. Charlie Hayes, 2-run homer, the ex-Yankee for the Giants. That's helped them out to the 6-1 lead. And sometime today in a major league ballpark, the 5,000th home run of the year will be hit. That's an all-time high. That's in for strike 1 and 2, and that's expected because there's more teams now. Ratio-wise, 1987, actually 1996 was the highest home runs per game ratio, then 87, and now 98 is third on that list. Jeter, nice backhand throw. Watch this throw. Plenty. Made it look easy. 2 down in the Tampa Bay second.
You know, one thing about a shortstop and a second baseman, they can see the signs from the catcher. And sometimes they will lean in the direction where they think the hitter's going to hit the ball. Now, if it was an off-speed pitch, looked like a splitter. Trammell pulls it. But Jeter may be leaning a little bit to his right, is able to get to the ball, then come up with that strong arm from the outfield grass. Nothing to it. Right there for Tino Martinez, and 2 down here in the second.
Our St. Louis audience, accustomed to seeing Ozzie Smith make some acrobatic plays for years. Jeter is not in that class as far as the sensational acrobatic type plays, but boy, is he smooth. Like you pointed out, outfield grass, and with that strong arm, got him by plenty.
I think that's where he outshines Ozzie Smith, with the arm.
Breaking ball into Sorrento, 1-1. Well, and now, of course, what Ozzie Smith was in his prime, and Omar Vizquel for Cleveland. They are the fielding gems of the shortstop crop, but that position is changing. It's off the corner, 2-1. Now you've got Garcia Parra, Jeter, Alex Rodriguez. Not only play well in the field, but they're turning shortstop into a hitting position. Boy, is Cone sharp early. He knows he's on a pitch count, and he's going to breeze through these first 5 as quickly as he can, not wasting a lot of pitches. Got him backdoor breaking ball. 6 in a row, 3 of them strikeouts. David Cone is sharp in his tune-up for postseason play. Yankees coming to bat when we come back. Yep, might not be on the bridge, but they're running smoothly here at the stadium. Yankee baseball brought to you in part by your local Chrysler Plymouth dealers.
That's the McCombs Dam Bridge crossing over from the Bronx into Manhattan. And either people coming, trying to get into the stadium a little bit late.
You know where they're going. They heard the Giants are going to postseason play. They're heading for the Polo Grounds.
Yeah.
In that wild card race in the National League, the Giants lead the Rockies 6-2 in the 5th inning. As Bernie Williams steps in, popping up the first pitch into short center field. Cairo and McCracken converge, and Miguel Cairo, the second baseman, makes the grab. 1 quick out. Bernie will need 1 hit today to maintain that lead in the batting race.
One thing you notice, the Yankees are swinging at a lot of first pitches. I think Terrell Wade, here it is. I got a good fastball. Let's see if you can hit it.
That's all the hitters do. I mean, realistically, folks, there's not a lot at stake here other than some individual things. These guys just want to get a couple of good swings in and hope that Tuesday gets here to hurry. That's what they have their sights on. The consistent numbers of Tino Martinez. That's in for a strike. "25 years old, the big left-hander out of South Carolina." Nice breaking ball there. And with Tony Saunders, good pitching prospect, Anna Rojo, and Terrell Wade, the Devil Rays hoping to put an injury-free and a solid pitching staff together for 1999.
You know that the manager, Larry Rothschild, has that sort of background as a former pitching coach. Well, he saw a pretty good pitching staff last year in Florida, didn't he?
Popped up. Flaherty, the catcher, looks like he's got room, and he wobbles under it and makes the basket catch. The native New Yorker John Flaherty puts it away, and that's 2 down in the Yankees' second.
Here's a look at it. Now remember, as Kitty mentioned, you go downhill towards the stands here, so sometimes you see the catchers with a few missteps, but he makes the play here, and there's 2 outs. One more look. He checked to see where he was, and the Willie Mays type catch.
That'll bring up Chili Davis. First pitch swinging. Wade is pointing, but who's going to call it? Ledesma, the shortstop. Well, that was a nice quick inning for Terrell Wade and the Devil Rays. We've played 2. No score here at the stadium. Back on MSG after this. Fans don't know what they're missing heading north on the Deegan. Yankee baseball brought to you in part by National Car Rental. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. That's what you can sense these players are saying, particularly the Yankees with the big game coming up too. Right back to Cone, and let's see where that got him. Oh boy. You hope it's anywhere but the pitching arm or hand. And I think it was. I think it was just a knock the wind out of him type of one hopper.
Well, he's walking around. That's a good sign. And it looks like he'll be able to shake it off. But you know that's the last thing the Yankees need at this point, an injury to any one of their starters or just one of their valuable role players. Let's take a look at this now. It's a solid shot off the bat of Rich Butler, a one-hop comebacker, and it's hard to tell where it got David Cone on that angle, whether it was the stomach or the forearm or the knee or whatever.
He's made no indication to show that it hit him in the pitching arm.
Here's another look at it. Let's see if we can determine.
Now, I think that got him just right in the stomach. Knocked the wind out of him briefly.
I thought I saw him point to his chest area on the mound. Now, you know, he's bending over to make the play, and maybe the ball came up and hit him in the chest and knocked the wind out of him.
Yeah, he'll have Dr. Gene Butig's autograph on his chest for a couple of days, but better there than anywhere near that pitching arm or hand. Now the smile tells you everything's okay, and a big sigh of relief not only for David Cone but for the Yankees and their fans. So 7 in a row now that Cone has sent down. And here's Miguel Cairo. He's had a pretty solid season for these Devil Rays. You mentioned at one time the Cubs had hopes for him being their regular second baseman.
Cairo's second among American League rookies in doubles with 25. And has played a pretty solid second base.
Pitch high for a ball. Picked up the only RBI the Devil Rays had last night. That's fouled out of play again for the benefit of the Midwest audience. Doesn't see a lot of American League games. The Devil Rays are down near the bottom in most hitting categories. They don't hit many home runs. They don't score a lot. So when you see their offensive numbers, it's the way they put this team together. They're looking for pitching. In the air to right, O'Neill with a late start near the line is trying to make a diving grab and won't get there. This will drop into the seats. That is a Yankee Stadium ground rule double where the field slopes away from the outfielder, and as soon as it hits the ground, it hops right into the stands.
For Cairo, this will be his 26th double of the year. And you notice the split grip on the bat gives him bat control, flips this one down the line. O'Neill coming, trying to slide. Looks like he got caught up in the dirt down there. He doesn't slide as far as he would want to, and the ball drops in fair territory and then into the seats for the two-base hit. Good concentration, but the ball will fall in for the two-base hit, and Cairo's at second.
And here's native New Yorker John Flaherty. That's him for a strike. I think watching O'Neill break on that ball, we're seeing the evidence of these 4 o'clock starts where you don't quite see the ball off the bat. You probably played a few of those, and just a step or two of a late start will prevent you from catching the ball. Outside, 1-1 to Flaherty. Devil Ray catchers, both good throwers, particularly Mike DeFelice, who played last night. Flaherty just 3 home runs and 24 RBIs. Waves at the breaking ball.
Yeah, most of those 4 o'clock starts were on the West Coast. And you hated to hook up with Nolan Ryan on a day like that because you had no chance. It was very difficult to see. And Noli was, you knew he was just a few maybe hits away from another no-hitter if somebody didn't stick one in there early.
Just outside, 2-2. That is the only, and to my way of thinking, the only advantage of playing fall baseball at night. It is kinder to the outfielders. You remember over 30 years ago in that Oriole Dodgers series, Willie Davis lost several fly balls in the sun. O'Neill's got that one located. That's the second out of the inning. Cairo holds his ground.
Well, Yankee Stadium is notorious for left fielders this time of year, early in the season and late in the season. I can still remember Sandy Ambrose making that catch off a Yogi Berra's drive down a left field line here at the stadium and had the sunglasses on, searching for the ball, and made a great play.
You can see the shadows that Shane Spencer and the rest of the outfielders have to contend. The haze, the late afternoon, early evening.
Yeah, I can remember my dad turned the TV on for me because I couldn't reach it.
You were that short, or it was that high? He had it up on the top shelf. Here's the speedy Quentin McCracken, popped out to Joe Girardi to start the ball game. Cone using all of his pitches, and it appears that his splitter and his breaking ball have been exceptionally sharp.
McCracken's been a hot hitter. Last 14 games, he's 20 for 58, trying to close off the year in style. He's had a tremendous year, as we mentioned in previous games in this series. He's set a first-year expansion player record with the most hits, breaking the record set by Charlie Hayes.
In the air to center, Bernie Williams is there. And he puts it away. David Cone surrendered the little blue double to Cairo, but he has pitched very effective 3 innings, no score, as we head to the Yankee half of the third. Shane Spencer coming up. Now you see the late afternoon shadows here at the stadium as we head to the bottom of the third inning. And fans, don't miss the last game of the regular season tomorrow. The Yankees will close it out against the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. It's a 1:30 start, and it's Fan Appreciation Day, and the Yankees will honor Joe DiMaggio in a special ceremony. Compliments to the New York Times. Tickets available at the stadium through Ticketmaster, the clubhouse doors, and on the web. He has got some fans. Shane Spencer. He has shown the fans here in New York he can hit a fastball, a curve, and a change. That's what his home runs have been off in the last couple of games. In first strike. That's high, 1-1. Again, the Midwest fans that are joining us courtesy of FX, not that familiar with Shane Spencer. That's what he's done through the first 25 games, comparable to what Kevin Moss did when he broke in with the Yankees. Left-hand hitting first baseman. There it goes, deep to left, near the track, looking up, and wow, do you believe it? Home run number 9 for Spencer. Baseball's hottest September player. You're looking at him. 1-0 Yankees. Take strike one. And the thing you love about Shane Spencer, you've heard the expression, act like you've done it before. I mean, he trots in like he's hit 50 or 60. Not getting overly full of himself over this hot streak. Another strike, and it's 0-2 to Brocious.
Just 2 away from going all the way around the board as far as Brocious is concerned. 98 RBIs. Shane's waving to the bleacher creatures out there in right field.
He picked up on that quickly. Brocious fouls that out of play, and Shane Spencer now leads the Yankees in September home runs. He's ahead of them all. Bernie Williams, Paul O'Neill. That's how the New York fans feel here. In the dirt. And again, we've got some Midwest fans we can bring up to date on Shane.
Shane brings the pain, and his ball is hurting after it's hit well over 400 feet to left center field for the homer.
Now, I wonder what that pitch, he went down and got it. I don't know, it looked like a changeup.
It looked like a changeup, yeah.
Changeup off Wilson Alvarez to right field the other night. Shane Spencer's been laboring in the minor leagues. That's ripped down the left field line. That'll be down in the corner. Brocious looks like he'll have a standing double, and he does. Scott keeps the average over 300.
Well, even if he doesn't get to 100 RBIs, he's had a heck of a year batting in the 7th, 8th, and 9th slots, driving in all those runs. This shot to the corner for Brocious will be his 34th double of the year. And how many times have we seen it right into that corner? Left fielder Bubba Trammell will go over there and dig it out. Got a foot fair. Rolls around out there. Tough left field to play once you get in that corner. Gets by you. It's triple, maybe an inside the park homer.
Still nobody out. Here's Joe Girardi. Yeah, they all want to rub up against Shane Spencer. Shows butt, takes ball one. Shane Spencer, a 28th round draft pick back in 1990. He's going to rub Derek Jeter's bat. Derek wants his 20th home run, so he had Spencer rub it up for him. So he has spent 9 seasons in the minor leagues. Shane's 26 years old, and about 4 years ago, Gene Michael said, hey, it's time. We got to find out if you can play or if you can't. He hadn't shown much the first 4 years, and that's when he began to show that power potential that he'd always had. Right at Cairo, and he drops it. So Girardi is going to reach first. Cairo took his eye off it, thinking he could double up Brocious. Error on the usually sure-handed Devil Rays second baseman, and the Yankees have 2 on, nobody out.
Yeah, he was looking for Ledesma to throw the ball to and try and complete the double play, doubling Brocious off, but instead didn't follow the ball into his glove. You can see him looking in the other direction, knocks it down. He's going to get an error, and Girardi will be safe on the error by the second baseman. So Miguel Cairo thinking ahead, but maybe thinking ahead a little too far.
That'll bring up Chuck Knobloch. Started the ball game with a base hit. Knobloch takes a shot to right, fouls that out of play.
You know, Kitty, you were mentioning Kevin Moss and Shane Spencer, and the comparisons to those two that came up and had good late seasons for the Yankees. I think one major difference between the two, Kevin Moss had 20 hits and was hitting .274, but out of his 20 hits, 17 of them went to right field, so only 3 to center or left field. Shane Spencer has used more of the whole field, which tells you there's a reason why he's hitting close to 400. He uses the whole field, hits better.
In the air to center. Brocious will tag. And he got it. Nice throw by Quentin McCracken. We told you about his throwing ability the other night. And Brocious unable to advance on the fly ball out by Knobloch. And there are 2 down in the Yankee third.
While Brocious is thrown out, it's a good time to make the opportunity, try and make it. McCracken with his 18th assist of the year, that leads the American League. You can see the throw is right there for Bobby Smith to apply the tag. Well, you might read about all the assist totals for an outfield, but until you see him throw somebody out, you're not aware of what type of arm he has. And we can see that McCracken, he can get there in a hurry.
Perfect one-hop strike. Here's Jeter as Girardi gets back in time. Yeah, back to your comments on Spencer. Because he's got that short, compact swing, very much like Bob Horner used to have during his great days with the Braves. He's hit pitches to right center, to center, and pulled him. That gets away from Flaherty. Girardi will hold his ground.
Kind of reminds you of Bob Horner in his stature, too.
Somebody mentioned the name Ron Say the other night. I think he's a little taller than Say, and his swing is a little shorter. Greg Lazinski comes to mind, strictly when you talk short, compact swings. That's what Spencer has. Toward third base, Bobby Smith takes the short way to Cairo. Girardi retired. But the Yankees get on the board courtesy of who else? The most home runs ever hit by a Yankee rookie in 1 month. Shane Spencer. Yankees by 1. Al Trautwig joins me after this.
Yoo-Hoo is proud to return as the sponsor of the New York Yankees in 1998. Yoo-Hoo, America's #1 chocolate drink. The Yankees and Yoo-Hoo, 75 years of the best of New York.
When baseball's hottest team has something.
Who else would provide the offer? You love this guy, don't you?
I do. I love this guy. I mean, he has taken these games and made them, you know, a bit of a baseball spectacle. I mean, he's got his own banners and fan clubs, and I mean, it's really getting crazy.
And he's got all of his teammates rubbing their bat for good luck.
Shane Spencer. And the Yankees are in front because of him. Aaron Ledesma with strike 1. What a gorgeous, warm, early fall day here in the Bronx. And everyone here in Yankee Stadium took a big gulp when David Cone took that bouncer off his belly. High fly to right. In the shade, O'Neill. 1 out. Let's take a look at Terrell Wade and David Cone. These are career numbers on the New York Marriott Marquee matchup. Cone is 167 and 93. That's very similar to Tom Glavine. ERA 3.18. He's compiled almost 2,400 innings, striking out just shy of a man an inning. And the control's been about 3-1 on the ratio scale. What a long, remarkable career. And Terrell Wade is trying to come back, as David Cone has, from injuries. That the Yankees would love to give David Cone sort of a little present, a 20th game here today. He's got to do his part by keeping the pitch count down.
Well, and he has so far, and if those of you at home followed the game, it's pretty typical of late September baseball when there's not a lot at stake. Everybody's swinging early in the count. The Yankees have already made 4 outs on the first pitch, and Tampa Bay the same way. They're swinging early, so he is able to keep his pitch count well below the limit that Mel Stottlemyre has set for him.
Now 20 wins for David Cone would be significant because of how long it's been since he's done it. And while he'll live if he doesn't get it, you know, it's got to be irritating to have not gotten it in his last couple of chances. And it's like the 112 wins. I mean, you might as well grab a little ring every time you go around the carousel.
Yeah, even though pitchers will tell you that years you win 18 or 19, you'll say, or 17, you say, you know, I pitched better this year than the year I won 20. But it is the standard. And to go that long between 20-game seasons means that chances are you've had to come back from some arm injuries, maybe adjust your style a bit.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Bobby Smith. Nice block by Girardi. Now listen to this, everybody. Since 1900, one player had the longest gap between 20-win seasons. To the chest of Girardi. He won 25 with the Minnesota Twins in 1966, and then he won 21 with the White Sox 8 years later. So David Cone is trying to do that. Do you know the person that I'm talking about as Smith draws the walk? Jim Cott.
Like I said, Al, it points out a couple of things. You're old,
but durable.
Right. You've had maybe some arm problems, and you have had to adjust maybe a different style than what you had when you were younger. And I think David Cone fits all of those. He's 35 years old.
What did it mean to you when you did it?
Oh, it meant a great deal, because unlike David Cone in 1973, I was probably, in 74, I was probably 1 start from having my career be over. I thought I was going to get released. I think I was like 4 and 8 or something like that. And then just like that, it turned around with the help of my good friend we acknowledged yesterday, Johnny Sain, turned 81 years old. So in my case, it was going from thinking my career was over to next thing you know, wow, 20 wins. So that was kind of a nice high.
Showed yourself and everybody else. Nice memory. 1-0 to Fred McGriff.
Cone going to go at McGriff with breaking pitches. Good splitter. Freddie hits 1 more home run. That'd be his 20th. 12 straight years he would do that. Put him in a category with Joe Carter, Lou Gehrig. Some pretty big names that have done that. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he went through the zone. So it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here with 1 out and 1 on in the top of the 4th.
The guy who still holds the record, this is phenomenal. Most consecutive seasons with 20 home runs or more. Hank Aaron had 20 of them. Unbelievable. You know, he never hit 50.
Never hit 50.
But he hit a lot of them.
Beautiful pitch by David Cone. He rolled it in around the corner. He's got his strikeout pitches working today. He's got 4 of them.
Yeah, against the left-handers, McGriff and Sorrento, he uses the backdoor breaking ball. And no matter who he faces, that is perfectly positioned. Girardi set up right there. Barely had to move the target. Whoever he faces, Cleveland or Texas, will have enough left-hand hitters in that lineup that pitch will be useful.
Now the hitter for Tampa Bay is Bubba Trammell.
Yankees might be doing a bit of scoreboard watching just to see who they will play, and Seattle's off to a 4-0 lead against Texas. Cleveland plays tonight, so a Texas loss and a Cleveland win, that would mean the Yankees would be playing the Rangers.
It's got to be the team they've been thinking about all along. I mean, that race changed so fast. 0-2.
Well, Cleveland's got to be kicking themselves. They were in here kind of, you know, sort of having some fun and relaxing. You can't blame them for that, but suddenly after 4 straight losses, they...
Did you see Mike Hargrove's face in the dugout last night when they walked in what became the winning run? I mean, he looked really beaten up. Fans into it here. David Cone rolling along. One more inning and he could be a winner. Just missing on the outside part of the plate. So on an 0-2 pitch, you might expect him to pitch it there. Atlanta beat the Mets 4-0. Chicago's getting it going. San Francisco leading. Colorado 7-3. Runner going, and it doesn't matter because Bubba Trammell is down swinging. 5 strikeouts for David Cone. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. Yankees up 1-0. Jeter, O'Neill, and Bernie Williams due to the plate. He's been tough. Yankees baseball is brought to you in part by Hoover. Nobody gets the dirt like Hoover. Nobody. We're back live on MSG, exit 23 of the Major Deegan. We'll bring you right here, Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Joe Torre, Don Zimmer, Joe Girardi discussing something in the Yankee dugout as it's Paul O'Neill, my mistake, not Derek Jeter, leading things off in the bottom of the 4th.
I think what that's in regard to, Al, this is kind of in the dugout teaching that we've seen Joe Torre do. Remember when the Yankees had first and second, nobody out? Girardi was at first, Brocious was at second, Brocious got thrown out at third.
Yeah.
I think Joe is explaining to Joe Torre to Joe Girardi what he should have done on that play, that perhaps he could have tagged up and advanced on the throw to third. I think that's what that discussion was about.
Once he saw that they made the commitment to make the throw to third. Well, here's our 1998 Yankee of the Year, Paul O'Neill. And a difficult choice.
And a bit of a surprise choice to me, as much as, you know, I've seen this guy and respected him and loved him since 1984 when I saw him come up as a young kid with the Reds. I really thought that, you know, my selection was Jeter. I thought all around what Jeter does, but like Paul said in his interview with you, can't make a bad choice.
Trouble in left. Oh, that legendary Yankee Stadium sun claims Bubba Trammell as a victim. And all the way to third goes O'Neill. The throw is in time. He'll be the second Yankee to be thrown out at third base. And suddenly for Bubba Trammell, it doesn't hurt so bad. And Paul O'Neill makes the first out of the inning at third base.
Yeah, and he knows it's a bad decision. Good time to make it in games like this. Typical O'Neill at bat. He takes a breaking ball, and there's the sun you're talking about, Al, as well as slipping onto turf. Bubba Trammell spends most of his time as a DH. And while he's shagging it down, Paul O'Neill suddenly he says, wow, all those stolen bases I got, I could fly. And he gets thrown out at third by plenty.
So not the wise choice. Boy, it's a good thing we did the voting before this play, huh?
Well, the good thing is he didn't do any kind of a slide where you're going to hurt yourself. He just made a bad judgment there.
Now it's Bernie Williams. Bernie got some votes. Basically what happened in our voting was that Bernie, David Wells, and Derek Jeter split. They were even across the board, and O'Neill just had a shade more. Bernie had a couple of hits yesterday, plus he didn't get charged with the at-bats in which he walked, so he did a good job in his race with Mo Vaughn. Here's the way it is right now in the New York Presbyterian batting leaders, and we got to go to a 4th digit here to separate these two. 3360 to 3355. That's fouled off, so it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Just on a personal note, when we looked at those batting leaders, you saw Eric Davis in there at 325. If he keeps his average up, our partner Ken Singleton still holds the single season average record for the Orioles.
Really?
Batting average at 321, I think Kenny said. So if Davis hangs on, he could set that mark for the Orioles.
See, Kenny drinks a lot of fluids in his inning off. Bernie fouls another one off. So
innings today.
What?
Innings off today. Right. We've got a quartet.
Susan Waldman will be along for the next 3. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. O'Neill probably took a very brisk step as he went in front of Joe Torre in the dugout after getting back there. Down the line and right, fairly deep. And the catch on the run out there in right field by Rich Butler. Bernie is retired. There are 2 away. Well, it doesn't get any easier than the Delta Airlines schedule right now. It's tomorrow. And our coverage begins at 1 o'clock on MSG. And then we want to remind you that Tuesday's Game 1 begins at 8 on Fox, locally on Channel 5. On Wednesday, they're going to switch it over to Channel 4. So you're going to have to stay sharp, check your listings, and then we will have special playoff editions of the MSG Sports Desk when those games are completed. So basically, when Fox says goodbye, we say hello and come on with all the replays, analysis, Mike Kay, you know, the usual stuff.
So keep your remote handy.
Got to always have it handy.
Have it locked in where you go to that last channel. Bing, bing.
Yep. Well, most good remotes have a jump on it, you know, where you can go between your 2 favorite channels.
Yeah. Rockies, Larry Walker hit a solo home run. They've closed the gap there now 7-4 San Francisco in the 6th inning. It's like he's going to win the National League batting title.
The Mets can't root hard enough for the Colorado Rockies.
And the Houston Astros. Astros up 1-0 over the Cubs in the 3rd.
Martinez barely deep to right center field. And at the wall, it's gone. Number 28 for number 24. Solo home runs, the difference on the day. 1 for that guy, Shane Spencer, and 1 for Tino Martinez. Other than that, Terrell Wade's got to feel okay about the way he's pitching in the game.
Tino pretty good at hitting the high fastball. Let's see what this is. Flaherty wants it out there, and it's above the belt. So many lefties are low ball hitters, but Tino gets on top of that high one.
Back live, a single for Chili Davis. Well, with 2 outs, the Yankees have a man on.
And guess who's coming up?
The man.
Good at bat for Chili Davis, and he needs him going into postseason play. Turned on an inside pitch, and that might be the hardest we've seen Chili hit the ball for quite some time. Good line drive single.
Torre's got to like that. He says he thinks Chili's ready, you know, and that he's swinging the bat fast enough and doing everything he needs to do. Shane Spencer from El Cajon, California, looking like he lives in the Bronx. And look, this is unbelievable, the response of the fans. Crushed it to the bullpen of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. He stands at 9. Swings at the first pitch, down the line, and in play. And he's out. And you can hear the from just about everybody in the crowd. So it's 2-0 for the Yankees, courtesy of this swing of Tino Martinez. He went up in the zone and got it. Back in a moment on MSG.
Yoo-Hoo is proud to return as the sponsor of the New York Yankees in 1998. Yoo-Hoo, America's #1 chocolate drink. The Yankees and Yoo-Hoo, 75 years of the best of New York.
Strike 3. That's a K for Rabu. Strike 3. Swing and a miss. Hang another K. Strike 3. Another
K anymore.
Yankees baseball is brought to you in part by American Express. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, American Express helps you do more. George Washington Bridge in the distance. Hi, everybody. Al Troutwig with Susan Wolman. Now, you're here for 3 innings today.
3 innings.
All right, so it's a bonus. What did it have on the scoreboard?
They had on the scoreboard when Shane Spencer came up, home runs. It said Sosa 66, McGuire 66, Shane Spencer 9.
See, Shane's problem is he's just running out of time. He's only got one more day to catch those guys.
This is what happens when you win 112 games. And you're just playing sort of spring training game and getting everybody back together.
1-1, the hitter is Paul Sorrento, wrapping up a disappointing season, 225 with 17 home runs and 57 RBIs, and I guess he largely reflects what the Tampa Bay Devil Rays need more of. They need better offensive production.
The problem with guys like Sorrento and McGriff, the same thing, is because there really aren't any big hitters in the lineup, they don't have to pitch to these guys. So they're just pitching around them. So you see all the strikeouts that Sorrento has. He's not going after good pitches. He's swinging at anything, trying to get something done, and it backfires.
They're like hitting islands in the ocean, you know? 3-1 pitch and a beauty. Had a lot of pop on that delivery. Full count.
Cone seems to have no ill effects from getting hit in the stomach, and that is a beauty right down the middle of the plate with a little tail on the end there. We were hyperventilating in the back when David Cone got hit.
Yeah, Yankee fans were not liking that moment.
You know, David Cone wants to get this 20th win, and Joe Torre said, it's up to you. You're only allowed a certain amount of pitches. We're getting you out of there. However many innings you can get with this pitch count, you can have.
Broken bat, fly ball down the line. And Tino Martinez settles under it. No shades needed. 1 out in the Devil Rays 5th. Now it's Rich Butler who's playing right field today for Tampa Bay. Susan, we were talking last night. The one thing you have to say about the Yankees is that they appear ready in just about every respect. The bullpen has shut the opposition down. Most of the hitters look like they're swinging the bat right. They're crisp in the field.
And we can all trace that back to one night in Tampa, can't we? That 7-0, and there's the man of the hour. Joe Torre walked into that locker room after that 7-0 debacle, and he gave them what for.
Line drive just beyond the reach of Chuck Knobloch.
And that ball really seemed to take off there. Good play by Knobloch. He thought that he had it lined up there. Coming off the bat here. Just gets a piece of it, gets underneath, and Knobloch thinks he's got it, but it sails at the last minute just over his glove and into the field. Butler just gets enough of it to get it over Knobloch's head. I think Knobloch was unaware that it was really going to take off that much. I think he thought he had it there. Phooey, he says.
Now the Yankees have dominated Tampa Bay in the first 2 games of the series. Lead today 2-0, and it would have even been worse for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays were it not for Miguel Cairo. He's driven in all 3 of the runs that they've scored. 1 yesterday and 2 in game 1.
And one of the nice, not surprises for Larry Rothschild, but Cairo really looks like he's settled in as the second baseman of the future there.
1 ball and 1 strike.
One thing that you like about a kid is when he doesn't get fooled with those same kinds of pitches as Larry Rothschild on the outside of the plate. And you saw Cone has been getting away with that with some of the other youngsters on this team. Cairo's not biting, or hasn't yet.
A little punch to right. That's going to fall. Butler all the way to third. And the Devil Rays have a little something cooking here in the 5th inning.
Now that was the same pitch on the outside part of the plate, but the great plate coverage that Miguel Cairo got on that, he was able to loft it into right field. See, same pitch outside of the plate. Miguel was ready for it, saw right where it was going, and just went with it right into right field. Nice piece of hitting.
Yeah, you just took the words right out of my mouth. That really was. So now it's John Flaherty. He's the 9th hitter in the order. Cone would love to get a ground ball to turn this into an inning ender right here. Fastball for a strike.
Staying on that outside part of the plate. Flaherty not having a good year with the bat at all. Still is a tremendous catcher. Was hurt at the beginning of the year.
And a nice guy, New Yorker, too.
Yeah, terrific kid. Really a good defensive catcher, which is what you need on a team that's trying to get a lot of kids in and get people to the next level.
Oh, 0-2. Cone jumps out in front.
And that also is what happens when you get a little anxious. Flaherty's hitting .300 on this road trip at only .209 outside part of the plate. And that just has great movement on the end of it, and Flaherty has no chance.
Fans get involved on the 0-2. Flaherty is not biting.
Wastes one up high. Sometimes a guy will go after a pitch like that in an 0-2 count. Cone's ready, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, I would say. Baseball news continues to be rewritten by one Mark McGwire.
Oh, my gosh.
His journey through the stratosphere now has reached 67 home runs. He has the lead, and they have the lead, 1-0. Can Sosa respond?
Well, they got to tell him. They usually do it within an hour of each other, right?
Runner going. Little bloop for Knobloch, and they're going to throw home Girardi. And they're going to tag Rich Butler out. Oh, man.
Now, that was heads-up play by the Yankees and a typical expansion team. Look at Larry Rothschild just getting picked off like that. And this team is ready. Just see Knobloch waiting. This is a terrific bit of fielding by the Yankees, and the fans are responding in kind. Look at Knobloch. Looks immediately, throws to Girardi, runs him back. That's what you're supposed to do. So Brocious is right there. Perfect rundown, so Torrey doesn't have to yell at anybody.
There it is, 4-2-5. And Joe Torre might want to cast a little wink at Mike Figa and say, Mike, remember that rundown we had earlier this week that didn't work out right? There's how you do it. You take those 2 extra steps.
You run the guy back.
So now, what a break for David Cone. In a low-run game, he's going to get a ground ball to Knobloch, Martinez. The Devil Rays stand 2, and David Cone is now in a position to win number 20 if the Yankees can hold on to their 2-0 lead. Bottom of the 5th, next. There were many, many Yankee fans who have come here today who made a contribution, a most special contribution to help out a little 2-month-old baby that needs to have brain surgery. The son of one Ernie Breen. Yankee players, Yankee wives, led by Jeff Nelson and his wife Colette, Chad Curtis's wife, Andy Pettit's wife, El Duque's girlfriend. I hesitate to list them all. Tim Raines' wife is there on the right. The Yankees in total, that's Colette in the back. Jeff went around the clubhouse yesterday and had Yankee players autograph, I think it was 60 dozen baseballs, and they were put in bags. And for $50 today, you got a Yankee autograph ball, and then, of course, that was sort of at random who you got. But this money is going to subsidize the surgery for this poor little boy who, Mr. Breen does not have the insurance money because he retired from the New York City Police Department when he was single. Then after he left, as I'm told, he got married and they had the baby. And so he's not covered, and he's in a bind. $60,000 worth of a bond. And the Yankee wives and the players didn't completely reach that goal today. Their hearts are in the right place. Joe Torre has made a big donation. Chuck Knobloch is going to a really, really nice thing. And as Colette Nelson said to me, she said, you know, all year long I've been listening to you and Ken and Jim and Susan and Mike and John and saying what a great collection of people these Yankees are. She said, well, it's true. Today is proof. So out there, say a prayer for that little guy, and maybe more if you want.
And you saw out there Laura Pettit and Lisa Knobloch, and Chad Curtis's wife was out there. Scott Broch is up to 303 now, Al, and Joe Torre wants this guy to hit 300 and get those 100 RBIs by the end of tomorrow.
Well, he stands at 98.
With the batting 303, and after his year last year, we've been saying all year there is no happier Yankee than Scott Brocious. And what a thing it would be for him if he could keep his average over 300 and get those 100 RBIs.
That would be a tough award to figure out. Happiest Yankee.
This guy's got it hands down.
No, Derek Jeter, I think.
No, but Derek started happy. This guy was in Oakland a year ago hitting 210. Well, maybe Shane Spencer now qualifies.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Those creative Yankee fans. Susan, did you see last night? Somebody put a W up here for every one of the 111 wins.
I did see that.
It's unbelievable.
Did you also see the sign, I love Derek, and Derek is crossed out and Shane is there?
Yeah. Oh, everybody looks all right. Got to stay alert.
I think you're right. We'll make a special category for happiest Yankee. El Duque gets #1 for everything.
Right.
And then we'll get to level 2.
Once you survive the man-eating sharks in the Atlantic, you know, you can't be anything but.
Yeah, he doesn't get to be in this category.
3-2 to Brocious. Ground ball to third. Brocious may slide down to 302 with that put out. Susan mentioned the speech, shall we call it, that Joe Torre gave to the Yankees after their loss in Tampa Bay. Well, he's got to love their response. This is as good as we've played all year. You want to go into the playoffs feeling good about yourself, and we're feeling pretty good about ourselves right now. He knows the buttons, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. And some of the players I talked to after that night in Tampa, one guy said to me, oh my gosh, was he mad.
There's a base hit for Joe Girardi that could be for more than one. He's going to challenge, and the throw from Trammell will not be intended to get him out. So he's in there standing. A 1-out double.
And you see once again Joe Girardi getting his swing down in playoff readiness. Takes that fastball, gets around on it, turns it into the left field corner. Bubba's is having some trouble out there in left field, isn't he?
Well, he's really happy because the sun is almost all gone.
Ricky Anderson used to say, everyone thinks they can come in here and play left field, but they can't.
Trammell out there in left maybe has about 5 more minutes of sun. Chuck Knobloch made the heads-up play last inning when he got that little bloop through home. Yankees prevented the Devil Rays from scoring, and high fists all around. And you see that was his little patented one with Tim Raines.
You really see Knobloch, I think, Al, sort of lifting it up to another level here in the last few weeks anyway, particularly defensively, seems to really be bearing down.
High bouncer at short. And just beating out the throw was Chuck Knobloch. Or getting beaten out by the throw was Chuck Knobloch. Well, it's hockey time, Susan. And MSG's got Rangers hockey Wednesday at 7:30. It's the Rangers and the 2-time defending champion Detroit Red Wings. Then Friday, October 9th, they play for real, the Rangers and the Philadelphia Flyers. Right here on MSG.
You know what a shocker that was? And when Headline News had the first time they had a full slate of hockey games a week ago, I was staring at what?
It sneaks up on you, doesn't it?
Be?
Yeah. Except this time it really did feel like a long time since I saw the Rangers, because you know when you don't make the playoffs. Derek Jeter. Ball one.
Saw Derek Jeter rubbing up against Shane Spencer's bat, trying to get some luck, trying to get that 20th home run.
Well, let's see if it pays off. This is the bat. 2-0. Terrell Wade, the starting pitcher for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Last we checked, the Mets were losers 4-0. Houston was leading the Cubs 1-0 early. That was in the third. In the sixth, Larry Walker had gotten Colorado to within 3 of the charging San Francisco Giants. Base hit down the line. Extra bases for Derek Jeter. Yankees are going to get a run. And he's at second base with his 84th RBI. What a year. Hit the ball very hard.
And another great piece of hitting by Derek Jeter, staying inside that pitch, getting around on it beautifully. Now you remember, Al, that was something that Derek Jeter worked on in spring training, being able to get around on that inside pitch and not being fooled on it after being pitched outside. Derek now doing that just great. He was talking to Darryl Strawberry about the '86 Mets and whether they had a little letdown and how they got to gear it up. There's Darryl. Says his legs are feeling a lot better. But he says it's really natural because when the team was in Baltimore.
O'Neill, maybe a play over by the photographers, just beyond the reach of Bobby Smith.
When the team was in Baltimore, I asked some of the Orioles about the letdown last year, and they were saying that, like Darryl had said about the '86 Mets, the Orioles last year went 12-15 in the month of September, as did the Cleveland Indians. You just can't play this way for an entire year. You just have to be able to gear up. And Darryl was just telling stories about the '86 Mets and when they started to gear up towards the playoffs. It was about a week and a half before the season ended, and by the time that '86 regular season was over, they were back where they should have been.
It's like asking a great sprinter to run as hard after he crosses the finish line as he does to get to the finish line. You just don't do it. Yeah, Darryl and Joe Torre noticed this. Last night, Darryl stole a base, ran out, and beat a ground out at first base. And Joe said, I know Darryl was trying to show me his legs were fine. O'Neill's behind 1-2.
Well,
I know Joe would like to see Paul O'Neill get a couple of hits before the season was over.
O'Neill fooled on this one out over the plate, and he knows it. Good pitch by Terrell Wade. Gets Paul O'Neill way out in front.
And O'Neill will stay alive. Susan, you were not available the day that we locked everyone in the hotel room in Tarrytown without room service to pick the MSG Yankee Player of the Year. So unfortunately you weren't included in the voting, but just for the record, who was your pick?
For the Yankee of the Year?
Yes.
I would have picked Derek Jeter.
Okay.
I know O'Neill's been incredible, had a great year. I think Derek Jeter is the one Yankee they could not have survived the season without.
Well, the voting was close. And O'Neill throws the bat down in disgust. It's been in a bit of a rough stretch. Ken Singleton will rejoin Susan Waldman. I'll see you on the postgame with Michael Kay. Right now, David Cohn's up 3-zip.
Going to the top of the sixth inning with the Yankees leading the Tampa Bay Devil Rays by a score of 3-0. And how about this? Don't want to miss the last game of the regular season. The Yankees close out their set against the Tampa Bay Devil Rays on Sunday, September 27th at 1:30. Sunday the 27th is Fan Appreciation Day. The Yankees will honor Joe DiMaggio. It's in a special ceremony, compliments of the New York Times. Tickets are available now at the stadium through Ticketmaster, the Yankee Clubhouse stores, and on the web at www.yankees.com.
You did that very well. www.yankees.com.
Thank all my teachers. I can read. There's the plaque out in Monument Park. Joe DiMaggio, Joe D, will be honored here tomorrow before the game. Should be quite an afternoon. Weather's supposed to be great as the Yankees close out the regular season. David Cohn working to Aaron Ledesma. And the first pitch at the top of the sixth inning is over the outside corner for strike one. Ledesma 0 for 2 today, but has a 12-game hitting streak going. And that's one reason why his average is over 300.
Right. Ledesma's done a terrific job here. This is a guy who has been around, came up with the Mets, played with Baltimore for a while, ended up here in Tampa Bay, has played, can play a little second, has played third, has played short.
Been very steady with the glove. But another fastball painted over the outside corner for call strike 2. David Cone using all his pitches very well in a tune-up.
He's ready.
Yeah, he is ready.
Yeah.
If he throws like this in the upcoming division series, he'll be very tough to handle. There it is, call strike 3. 3 fastballs on the outside corner. Ledesma's headed back to the dugout.
And I think, Kenny, don't you, that this is always a very good sign when David Cone is using that fastball like that, because you can get very compact with your delivery and not use an awful lot of pitches. There's that fastball right on the outside part of the plate, just has Ledesma fooled.
And it's got a lot of pop on it today. Not only spotted well, but also has some velocity. Bobby Smith, the next hitter, has grounded out and walked 0 for 1.
Bobby Smith playing today. Boggs has pains in his knees today, so you won't see him probably either today or tomorrow. Bobby Smith, the third baseman really of the future down there.
That'll move the count to a ball and a strike. There's a look at the veteran.
A kind of a tough year for Boggs. I think he thought at the beginning of the year that this last week of the season had things worked out better for him. They ended up in Boston before they came here. Maybe he could have gotten his 200th hit either in Boston or here in New York. But then the stint on the DL in April ended that. So he's at 2,922, and if Wade's going to get to 3,000, it'll have to be next year.
Smith fouls another pitch off. And the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. We're going to look at our New York Marriott Marquee matchup. Terrell Wade has worked 5 innings, allowed 8 hits, 3 runs. He struck out 1, hasn't walked anybody. That's good. David Cone, 5 1/3, 3 hits, no runs, 6 strikeouts, and just 1 lone walk that came to Bobby Smith in his last at bat.
And the best thing about this, at the end of 5, he had only thrown 75 pitches.
Thought that was a strike, but instead the count goes full at 3-2. Payoff pitch is on the way to Bobby Smith. Swings and misses, strike 3. Got him. Strikeout number 7. Once again, the lively fastball.
You're going to see he's going to come upstairs with this fastball. There's nothing harder to hit when he's really working is that high fastball, and he has no shot at that.
Here's a good overhead look at it.
Right on the outside part of the plate, totally had him.
And you notice when Girardi was set up, that's exactly where the ball went. So it shows you not only spotting ball well, there's a 7 Ks for David Cone. Those two work so well together, Girardi and David Cone. Fred McGriff will be the hitter. 2 outs, nobody on the 6th.
Well, why David Cone is so difficult to catch and why Girardi is so brilliant at this, you could put down the 1 for a fastball, but it could come from 7 different angles and could do 30 different things, and it's still a fastball. They really do work well together.
Ground ball to second, should be an easy inning. McGriff is thrown out by Knobloch, and David Cone has sent down the Devil Rays here at the top of the 6th. Nothing across for Tampa. Yankees lead 3-0.
www.yankees.com.
Hey, Yankee fans, capture the Yankees online at Yankees.com. Chat with your favorite player. Listen to the game while you check out stats. Pull up Yankee history. You can even buy tickets at Yankees.com. And Yankee fans, click onto the Yankee shop and purchase official Yankees merchandise. Adidas t-shirts, new era fitted hats, and batting practice jerseys. So go to Yankees.com, the internet home of the New York Yankees.
Yankees.com.
Yankees win. They look unstoppable.
Hit deep to right. A grand slam home run for Bernie Williams.
The Yanks wrap up the regular season against the Devil Rays after New York City Marriott scorecard tomorrow on MSG.
On a beautiful day in the Bronx, here's a look at the National Finance Corporation Skycam. National Finance Corporation homeowners, lower your monthly payments. Apply by phone at 1-800-LOAN-NFC. Ken Singleton and Susan Waldman on it. As I mentioned, a beautiful day here in the Bronx. Tomorrow afternoon should be fine too when the Yankees close out the regular season. They lead 3-0. At the bottom of the 6th inning, we're going to see Bernie Williams, Tino Martinez, and Chili Davis. And there is Bernie, who thus far today is 0 for 2 against Terrell Wade, has popped up and flied out. Last night, Susan, Bernie hit left-handed against the knuckleballer Dennis Springer, while in Boston a few weeks ago he hit right-handed off of Tim Wakefield. Yeah, and I asked him about it today, and he had some interesting things to say. He said, well, I just see the ball better against Springer as a knuckleballer batting left-handed, so I hit left against him. And Wakefield, he doesn't see it as well left-handed, so I hit right-handed. So.
And in Sparks in L.A., after he had hit right-handed against Wakefield, he tried it against Sparks, and he said, this isn't working, and turned around.
So here's Bernie.
And don't forget, Mo Vaughn was 1 for 3 this afternoon at 3:36 now.
And Bernie with the 0 for 2 is hitting .335. 26 home runs, 96 runs batted in. Bernie this year has had 3 hits or more in a game 22 times. That's the most in the American League. That's pitched down low. 2 balls and no strikes. Here's David Cohen between innings, putting the jacket on. Now here's Joe Girardi coming over for a little conversation about the last inning, how things are going.
Now there's somebody he doesn't want to see. It's Mel Stottlemyre right there.
Bernie swings, bouncing ball, backhanded by Smith. Fair ball. Bernie hustling down the line. The throw and the tag, and Bernie's out of there. Nice play by Bobby Smith. And the first baseman, Paul Sorrento, on the other side. And Bernie Williams is now 0 for 3.
And that's a very good play by Bobby Smith, and that's one of the things they like about him is his range. This is not a great throw, bounces it, but at first base, nice play made by Sorrento. Didn't Smith come up as a second baseman, actually?
I think it maybe is a shortstop, too. But we're looking at Sorrento at first, who dug that ball out of the dirt. Hasn't played all that much first base this year. Tino swings through a breaking ball and misses strike 1. 28th home run of the year for Tino Martinez. That came in the 4th inning.
You know, we were talking about before, Kenny, don't you think that Tino this year is going into the playoffs on an upswing as opposed to the last 2 years where he was kind of on a downswing and had a tough September and tough playoffs? He really looks like he's ready right now, is locked in, gets this high fastball from Terrell Wade and just smacks it into the right field bleachers.
Swing on a breaking ball. The count is 1-2. That was right in Tino's happy zone. Every hitter has one. And it's that high fastball or breaking ball out over the plate that seems to disappear every time he takes a swing at it. Tino picked up his 123rd RBI of the season on the homer. Swings through another breaking ball. Terrell Wade goes with these sliders and strikes Tino Martinez out. For Wade, it will be his 3rd strikeout of the afternoon.
After staying with fastballs, the breaking pitch down and away from Tino Martinez. Tino looking at the ball, look at the, like, where did that go? Where did that end up?
Well, sometimes you feel like you're right on it, and when you go to swing, does a Houdini act.
But I think overall it's been a very positive September for Tino Martinez, and it's got to make him feel much more confident than last year. Someone else who's got to feel a lot more confident is Chili Davis.
Fly down the left field line, fairly deep. Trammell will not be able to get to it. It bounds off the wall for extra bases. Chili Davis to second with the double, will turn and hold on with a 2-base hit. He thought about third, and it looks like Trammell might have drabbed an ankle out there. Yeah, it's a tough field out there in left field in the late season.
Now, interestingly enough, Trammell's put out there because Randy Wynn, the kid, has really hit the wall, and Rothschild didn't want him to end the season on a bad note. And Bubba goes down and really, he looks like he doesn't see where the wall is and slides so that he doesn't run into it, then has trouble getting up. He could have hit that ankle, Kenny, on that wall. Yeah, right there on the 318 side, underneath that sign. He's having a very tough afternoon.
We're going to have a pinch runner for Chili Davis as Chili leaves the ball game 2 for 3 on the afternoon. It's going to be the speedy Homer Bush, and today's game is going back to St. Louis, and of course Homer Bush, a native of East St. Louis, Illinois, as we see Chili Davis getting congratulations, and manager Larry Rothschild out to the mound. That's going to be it. As Terrell Wade, who's coming off shoulder surgery, will give way to a new pitcher coming out of the bullpen. So we'll be back with more action in just a moment. 2 outs, bottom of the 6th. Yankees with a man at second, and they lead it 3-0. Now, how about this? The Sunday Daily News presents the greatest Yankees moments ever. That'll be a 24-page collector's edition. Pull-out section. Special section was developed with the input of the area fans who were polled to ask to share their favorite moments in New York Yankee history. Get yours in tomorrow's Daily News.
Okay,
that should be very special. And a familiar face, that's Jim Messier, who will come out of the Devil Ray bullpen. As Wade talking with Rick Williams, the pitching coach. And, you know, for Wade, you would think that with that shoulder surgery and coming back, this is only his second start of the season in the major leagues, that getting into the 6th inning is just something in itself. You look at the numbers on Messier.
Yeah, Wade wants to be able to come back and be part of this rotation next year. Came up with the Brave organization. Jim Messier's done a very good job for this team.
75 strikeouts in 82 2/3 innings, only 67 hits. I used to love Jeter, but Shane Sweeter.
Oh, look at that. Young love. Isn't that great? Oh, they're so fickle.
Here is Shane. Maybe a little sweeter now after the home run, his 9th of the season.
And unless something really strange happens, welcome to the postseason, Shane Spencer.
Messier has that screwball. This is a tailing fastball inside for ball 1.
That's why he's been so effective and why people always take a chance on him, because he can get lefties and righties out with that screwball, the way he pitches.
That's going to catch the corner, in for a strike. Shane Spencer, of course, was using Chuck Knobloch's bats. Chuck Knobloch loaned him a bat. He's been hot ever since.
Right.
Hasn't broken many of them. Fastball in, swings through it, strike 2, a ball and 2 strikes.
Now, Kenny, what about as a slugger as you were? What about the way Shane Spencer, look at that batting stance. He's very, very still. This has got to help him in the long run, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, a compact, short compact swing. Mine wasn't that compact, but anything in, he's very quick on. Anything away, he can wait on. They're going to try and jam him just to see if he can turn on something quickly.
Well, one of the things you like with a young kid, and of course here's that great at bat in the 3rd inning, that is out over the plate, and he does pull that. That went a long way on the changeup and hits that back wall in the bullpen. That was some shot.
That's not as far as he hit one the other night here.
Well, the longest one I ever saw was George Bell's off the ambulance. And I know Buhner hit one out there, but Bell's went further.
Swing and a miss, and Spencer has struck out. So a double for Chili Davis. The Yankees do not score here in the bottom of the 6th inning, but they have the lead as we head to the 7th. Fans, New York Yankee baseball is brought to you in part by Hertz. For business, for pleasure, nobody does it exactly like Hertz. Well, we're headed to the top of the 7th inning.
It's something I've always wanted. The 2 of you.
3-0 as we head to the 7th inning. And so far, Kitty and Susan, David Cohn's looked very, very sharp.
Think he's ready?
Oh, I think this is as sharp as he's been in a long time. And I think what Mel Stoudemire and Joe Torre did with him is really beneficial. He's working on the 6th day. They backed him up a couple of days each start. You know, and after you've had surgery and so forth, that's not a bad idea.
Bubba Trammell lifts the pop-up to the right side. It's going to be Luis Sojo down first base who makes the play. Sojo taking over for Tino Martinez, and there's one down.
And have you noticed, guys, that every time that they've backed Cohn up, at least on the 6th day, also with Arabu, always pitches better, the both of them.
That's Curtis in left field. Prior to that, you saw Shane Spencer out in right field. Paul O'Neill's out of the game. So the Yankees making some defensive changes here in the 7th. The hitter is the veteran Paul Sorrento. So David Cohn, pitch count somewhere around 100, maybe 110. Sorrento check swing, little looper over the head of Jeter and into left field for a base hit. That's what they call a Steve Martin base hit. Excuse me.
Tried to hold up and couldn't do it.
Yeah, he'll take it, though. You see the smile on his face, so he's on with one down.
This has not been a good year for Sorrento. He's not had a good year, batting .225. Tried to check that swing, but he'll take it at this point.
You know, maybe it's a sign of better things to come for him. And I'm sure he's hoping so. So he's at first with one down. And Rich Butler, the right fielder, comes to the plate.
Also not having the kind of year they thought he was going to have. Had
Well,
great minor league numbers in Toronto.
Well, you look at their offense, and it's just not there. Pitches inside for a ball.
It's a good kind of team to tune up against, because even though they don't have good hitters, I mean, they are big league hitters. And for David Cone, just to have confidence in all of his pitches going into a start against will probably be the Rangers next Friday night. I don't care who you're pitching against. If you just get outs and you feel good about your stuff, that's all you can ask for.
Heard Cone after the last start saying, well, if I couldn't get my 20th win twice around, maybe I don't deserve to get it. But I'm sure he feels a lot better about himself today.
Strike two on Butler. Now we know that Jim Brucey's going to start the final game of the season for the Yankees tomorrow, but Larry Rothschild
he has no idea what's going on.
He doesn't know who's going to pitch tomorrow. Or he might have an inkling.
I'm sure he has an inkling. He said, I'm out of major league pitchers.
We talked about Larry's career the other night briefly with the Tigers in 81 and 82, 7+ innings. He only struck out one guy, and that guy's one of the more difficult players to strike out, former teammate of Kenny's.
Butler's gone. David Cone with 8 strikeouts.
Well, he's used the slider, the splitter particularly against the lefties, and anytime you see the ball break down and away from a lefty, chances are that's the splitter. That's what that was.
Kitty, how much better is it for Cone when he can spot the fastball the way he's done this afternoon?
Well, every pitcher, no matter whether you're a hard thrower or not, everything works off the fastball. If you don't have control of your fastball and you don't have a good one, then you're not going to get by with just breaking pitch, because you can't throw 120 of them a game.
Then for Cone, when you're trying to be that economical, if you're being so good with that fastball, then it saves on pitches.
This is Miguel Cairo. The Devil Rays have 4 hits in the game. Cairo has 2 of them. Maybe it's the split grip. Maybe the other Devil Rays will be hitting like him next year. Jam, and it's fouled back. You mentioned that Larry Rothschild only had 1 strikeout in limited action for the Tigers, as it's Ramiro Mendoza warming up in the bullpen. And Rothschild walked 6 in 8 2/3 innings and struck out 1 man, and it was Rich Dower. Now, it's very ironic that it was Rich Dower, because as Kitty said, he's very tough to strike out. He's the only player that Nolan Ryan faced 10 times and never struck out. Check swing by Cairo and fouls it back, so the count is 1-2. And Rich Dower had a propensity for hitting into double plays. One day, after about 4 and 2 days, Earl Weaver was waiting for him at the top step of the dugout and says, why don't you just strike out one time instead of hitting into double plays? That's Richie made contact. 1-2 pitch on Cairo, and he lifts a high pop-up. Derek Jeter settles underneath it at short. And he has it, and the Devil Rays are gone here at the top of the 7th inning. So David Cone got the job done through 7 innings. He's been tough. We head to the 7th inning stretch here at the stadium.
If you're a New York pro football fan, MSG has the show that does it all. Fossil Giants and Parcells Jets are looking to soar to new heights. Catch another great season of the Sharp Jets Giants Report Monday night on MSG.
Bottom of the 7th inning. Yankees leading 3-0. And tomorrow, final game of the season, the Yankees close it out at 1:30 against the Devil Rays, and they honored Joe DiMaggio in a special ceremony, compliments of the New York Times. Tickets are available now at the stadium through Ticketmaster, the Yankee Clubhouse stores, and of course on the web at www.yankees.com. Jim Messier to Scott Brosius, and the count is a ball and a strike. Ken Singleton, along with Susan Wallman and Kitty Cott.
This guy's had a nice year, Jim Messier, the ex-Yankee. They say his fastball's up in the low 90s. Got that good scroogey.
Gonna be a tough play. Bounces off the mound, comes up with it, throws. Nice play by Messier. 1-3 on the play.
Not as graceful as you used to be.
I'll tell you what, I really admire this. This is worth another look because here's a guy who was born with a bit of a foot problem, a foot defect, and it's a little more difficult for him to bounce off the mound. And boy, does he do a nice job. Watch how quickly he gets to it. You can see when Jim Messier does his running in a straight line that he has a little problem with his left foot.
Right now he'll face Joe Girardi, who doubled and scored in the 5th inning. Slider downstairs, ball 1.
Wild card update. Giants won at 8-4.
That's something to go into Colorado and take the first 2. Pitches fouled off. Darryl Kyle must have been the loser for the Rockies. And he was signed to big-time money as a free agent to be the lead pitcher for the Rockies pitching staff.
And why would you sign a curveball pitcher in Colorado?
That's what I've always wanted to know. Now, if we know that, why didn't Bob Gebhardt know that?
I got to talk to Gebby about that.
Kyle 13-17 now. Looked like the pitch was fouled off by Girardi. The count is 1-2.
Now, Kitty, Messier was talking, you touched on it a minute ago. He seems to have added some velocity to that fastball. How do you do that at this stage in your career?
Well, you know, maybe the last few years in the minor leagues, maybe he's worked a lot of innings up and down in the bullpen, and he's fresher this year. I mean, I think you can add a little bit of velocity by, you know, just getting out in the outfield, throwing almost like an outfielder does.
Maybe a new pitching coach and new mechanics.
Yeah.
That's going to run the count full on Girardi. He'll be followed by Chuck Knobloch at the top of the order. Yankees leading 3-0. It appears that David Cohn's day is done, and he has a chance to win number 20. That misses. Ball 4. Joe Girardi has drawn a walk, and he's aboard with 1 out. Here's David Cohn
putting on that jacket.
Yep. He's had a heck of a season.
That would be some accomplishment. 10 years between 20-game seasons, and he's back to somewhat the same power that he had in '88. I mean, he still has that great slider. I remember left-hand hitters 10 years ago talking about, I'm talking left-hand hitters now, said, man, David Cohn's got the toughest slider to hit, even for a lefty.
Chuck Knobloch had a base hit his first time, and he has one right here. It's going to be 2 for 4. Girardi to second and will hold on as Rich Butler gets the ball back in quickly. So Chuck Knobloch with his second hit of the day. And the Yankees have 2 on and 1 out here at the bottom of the 7th.
And Kitty, that's what you used to see when Knobloch was in Minnesota, taking that pitch on really middle out and going the opposite way. He hasn't done that as much this year as he did in Minnesota.
He really has to get back to doing that in the postseason. He's been making too many outs in the air. That's not his game.
Derek Jeter working on a 1 for 3 afternoon, comes up with 2 men on. The Yankees trying to increase a 3-0 lead. Fans getting into it. Let's go Yankees. The champ. Slider outside for a ball.
I guess Shane Spencer will be on the ticket with him.
Could get a lot of votes here in New York. Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes.
So everybody's pitching rotation, and as Texas is losing today, it looks like that's all set. Wells, Pettit, Cohn, and Alduque first 4 games. Stottlemyre, Helling, Seeley, and Burkett in that order for Texas.
From a hitter standpoint, Kenny, I think that's a nice matchup for the Yankees. The first 3 pitchers all pretty similar. As you see Messier's pitch to Derek Jeter. Nice slider in the outside corner. Todd Stottlemyre throws pretty hard, as does Helling.
Yep.
Seeley's got a good curve, big curveball.
Jeter fouls this one off, 2-2.
But I think the tough thing to try to destroy the hitter's timing is when you have a pitching rotation that gives you a little different look every night, and Texas doesn't have that. They get down to John Burkett, who is really an off-speed control pitcher, but the other guy's very similar, and they have no left-hand starter.
Interesting. I was talking to Rick Helling a couple of days ago, and he was talking about how Stottlemyre, when he came over there, was trying so hard to be that person to help them, and he was overthrowing and really not getting a lot of success. And then once he calmed down a little bit, because everybody knew, well, we made this trade so that you can help us get to the playoffs. And I really think Helling thinks he really just took it too much on himself instead of relaxing.
Well, they're there now.
Yes, they are.
But they can't relax. Payoff pitch, the runners are going. Jeter fouls it off. They'll do it all over.
Helling's just a terrific story. 20-game winner, won 5 games last year. He says it's just because they let him pitch.
Lucky they got him back. They drafted him and traded him away. How about Mel Stottlemyre Tuesday night? If it is Texas, he's torn between blood and a paycheck. His son will be pitching, and he's wearing a Yankee uniform. I told Mel, just put your street clothes on, go home.
Another foul by Jeter.
Watch it on TV, because that's got to be tough for him to be in the dugout knowing he's wearing the Yankee uniform, and there's his son Todd out there trying to beat the Yankees.
And Todd said the first time that he pitched, and he kept looking into the dugouts and looking for Pop. He kept saying, I kept looking in there.
No advice that night, huh? Still 3-2 on Jeter, and each time the runners have been going, so we'll expect them to be moving again. Trying to open up a hole in the infield for Jeter to shoot something through. He's 1 for 3 on the day. Spin move, throw to second. Girardi just gets back. Aaron Ledesma dropped in behind Girardi. Larry Rothschild putting on those signs.
Now that was actually a nice move by Messier, getting around that fast.
Runners go. The pitch to Jeter. Will do it again. He fouls it back. Nice little battle going here between Jim Messier and Derek Jeter.
And talking to Larry Rothschild, these are the kinds of things that you look for when you're managing an expansion team, something to build on. And he says he's very pleased with a lot of things that have happened this year. This team has been in games all the way to the 7th, 8th inning. They keep it close, but if they get behind, they just have no hitting to catch up.
Runners go again. The pitch to Jeter, bounce to the right side. Sorrento only one play, and now he's going to flip to Messier just in time to get Jeter. Looked like some indecision on that play. Remember, Sorrento hasn't played all that much first base this year. So Derek Jeter out on a very, very close play at first base. Meanwhile, the runners advance.
Derek Jeter not really sure about that. Neither is Paul Sorrento. Doesn't really know what to do there. Throws to Messier at the last minute, and it's a good call. It is a good call. Messier's foot does touch the bag before Jeter's hand.
One more look at it is hustling Jeter. In a way, you don't want to see him diving into first base.
With your hand out like that now.
You know, this time of the season. The Yankees looking for their 113th victory. Chad Curtis is going to come up for the first time today. He's in left field. Shane Spencer was in left, moved to right. Paul O'Neill's out of the ball game. Curtis, who ripped his 10th home run of the year the other night. Hadn't hit a home run since August 2nd. Off the end of the bat and foul.
I think that had to be a big load off of his mind. Guys talking to him about it. Come on, if you can get that 10th, then you know, the whole starting lineup at one point has 10 or more home runs.
Well, not only that, in the prior at bat, he had hit a solid single to left field, and sometimes you get that one hit. Pitcher, I think it was Jason Hockamy, came inside twice on him, and he solidly hit both shots. 1-1 pitch. That's going to be to the corner, 1-2. Yankees with 2 on and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
You remember last year when he was traded over here and was trying to pull everything and swing for the fences, because I remember him saying he thought he was a home run hitter when he was with Anaheim and then Detroit. And Torrey talked to him about just meeting the ball and went on a little rampage there. He's got to get back to doing that.
Count levels off at 2-2. Joe Torre knows he can relax for these next few days here, and then Tuesday night gets serious all over again. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Chad Curtis misses the slider. Susan, I want to thank you very much for all your insight this season.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay.
See you, Susan.
Lead 3-0.
There's a team up in the Bronx that is really out of sight. They can hit a ball from home plate all the way to Jackson Heights. Every adult, every child, all the fans are going wild. Yankee baseball, where are you?
3-0 Yankees, top of the 8th inning, and fans, you don't want to miss this one. Tune in tomorrow for our Fox Sports News Special. Baseball 98, one for the record books. The Yankees' dominance, blockbuster trades, the end of Cal's streak, nail-biting pennant races, and Big Mac and Slammin' Sammy's astounding home run totals. It's a complete look back at the magical season. Baseball 98, one for the record books. Live tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. right here on MSG.
It has been a record-setting year, hasn't it? Ramiro Mendoza will come in to get at least 1 inning's worth of work and try to preserve David Cohn's 20th victory. And we do have that Midwest audience today, our viewers from St. Louis that may not be as familiar with what the Yankees have done this year. We referred to the all-time American League win record, 112 wins. You see the rest of Mendoza's numbers. A couple of other things, Derek Jeter and Chuck Knobloch as a tandem. The third pair of middle infielders in American League history to steal at least 30 bases. John Flaherty will step in. And the Yankees have also tied a record in terms of home runs. Popped in the air. Soho near the line. Looks like he's got it in range. Puts it away, 1 down. They've got 9 players with double-figure home runs. First team since the Cincinnati Reds, 91 Reds to do that. Who's the only man to have played for both the Florida Marlins and the Tampa Bay Devil Rays? That's our Aflac trivia quiz. And of course, Larry Rothschild, the manager of the Devil Rays, has been part of both. He was the pitching coach. But he is not the answer because this is a player. It's like Stanton and Nelson will each get a little work in the 9th. As the Yankee bullpen has just been superb this last week, tuning up for the postseason.
What are they up to, 20 innings without a run scored against them?
Graham Lloyd, in the right part of your screen, has made a nice comeback here after having a very successful year. He had really gone downhill getting out lefties, but Joe Torre called him in and said, hey, you got to kick it in gear. I can't trust you in the postseason. And Lloyd took the challenge, and he struck out Jim Thome, David Justice, and Fred McGriff here in his last couple appearances. 0-2 to McCracken. That's off the edge. 1-2. Cubs have tied the Astros 1-1 in the 7th. Not on a Sosa home run, or we would have heard about it. I mean, last night leaving the ballpark, the cars already around the Bronx had Sosa 66 painted on the back window. Outside, 2-2 to McCracken. Other thing the Yankees have done this year, for those of you not familiar with them, is a combination of guys that hit home runs and steal bases. Even Paul O'Neill has stolen a lot of bases. I say even because Paul's not known as a base stealer. Hit well left field, and Curtis says he's got it, and he puts it away. There are 2 down.
You know, Curtis and Bernie Williams work very well in the outfield. There's a lot more communication than you might think going on in the outfield. Besides, I got it. You know, that one little glance towards the other guy might tell him that, you know, this is my ball. You know, even before you even say anything. And Chad Curtis that time, as Bernie looked over at him, held his glove out as to say, I got it. The ball was kind of drifting back towards left field.
And that's where you might see a lot of Chad Curtis late in the ball game in some of these division series. That pitch to
Ledesma inside. Yankees have 6 players with double-figure home runs and stolen bases. The 91 Reds, only other team to do that. And ironically, Paul O'Neill was a member of that team. Ground foul at the plate. 1-1 to Ledesma.
Mendoza in the ball game. He's known for the ground balls. He's got 2 fly ball outs here in the 8th inning. Ledesma, a 12-game hitting streak on the line. He has struck out twice and flied out.
Running fastball up and in for a ball. What a nice late Saturday afternoon crowd. Second to the last day of the season. 41,000 plus at the stadium. Little broken bat looper. Knobloch on the run. Bernie Williams can't get it. Ledesma's going to keep his hitting streak intact. He'll trot into second with a bloop double.
Good try by Knobloch for the over-the-shoulder catch. Seemed to just stick the glove out there, but the ball falls in. A little comedy at the end of the play, but as Ledesma will move into second base. There it is, another look. I'll tell you what, the Knobloch going back and Shane Spencer and Bernie Williams coming in the other direction. Why not be tentative? You did it?
Spencer has now moved over to right field. If you joined us late, yes, he does have a home run. He has hit more home runs in a month than any rookie in Yankee history. He's hit 7. In fact, he leads the ball club this month in home runs. The Yankees have hit 2 today, Spencer's and Tino Martinez, and they lead the majors in home runs since the All-Star break. That pitch is high for a ball.
By the way, Ledesma's streak now at 13 is the longest ever by a Devil. Nah, it can't be. Because McCracken had an 18-gamer this year already.
That's in for a strike.
And McCracken's streak tied Tommy Davis for the '69 Seattle Pirates as the Pilots as the longest streak by a first-year expansion player.
Just a little low, 2-1. This is the role Mendoza would be called on, just in case the Yankees starters, which we pointed out last inning, will be Wells and Pettit here at the stadium. Then David Cone and Orlando Hernandez, games 3 and 4. Well behind that pitch, and the count level to Bobby Smith, 2-2.
Now I got the Ledesma thing straight. The longest by a right-handed batter, strictly right-handed. McCracken's a switch hitter.
A little qualifier there for the ex-Met. Got him. Not fouled it at the plate. Stays alive. Another downside of the Devil Rays season. We talked about Larry Rothschild building it around pitching, but not only do they have trouble scoring runs, they strike out a lot and they don't walk much. That's a bad combination. And Smith is up there among the leaders in strikeouts. But they can afford to be patient for 3-4 years, get their pitching staff organized. And I shouldn't say 3-4 years. I don't think fans are willing to wait that long anymore. Saw what happened in Florida, and of course the Rockies waiting. Brian O'Nora taking a little extra time because I think that foul tip got a piece of Joe Girardi, and he's waiting for Joe to kind of get his breath back a little bit. He got him, and Girardi hung on. Effective inning by Mendoza. 3 outs away from David Cohn's 20th win, and the Yankees would win 113. Back after this.
G.
41,000 plus on hand. We remind you the Yankee baseball is brought to you in part by the new Dodge. See your local Dodge dealer today. Roberto Hernandez, the Devil Rays closer, hard-throwing right-hander, takes over. had quite a career coming back from what was a life-threatening situation. Blood clot in the arm back when he was a member of the then California Angels. 26 saves, high earned run average.
Of course, he was part of that deal last year along with Wilson Alvarez that had them going from the White Sox to San Francisco Giants. And when you look back at the deal, everybody thought at first that it really favored the Giants, and it did help them. It did help them in their quest for a division title. But this year, when you look at Bobby Howry and Mike Caruso, who came over from the Giants, two young players in that deal, Howry is now the White Sox closer, and Caruso is having a 300 hitting season as a rookie shortstop.
So it might have been a good deal for the White Sox. You see the high walk total. His control has not been good. Right up the middle, and Bernie Williams needed that hit to keep the lead in the American League batting race. So he's 1 for 4 with a leadoff single here in the 8th.
Nothing fancy here. Pitch right down the middle, and Bernie just turns it right back where it came from. Right back through the middle for the base hit.
So he gets congratulations from his teammates as Ricky Leday will go in to run for Bernie Williams. Mo Vaughn 1 for 3 in Boston this afternoon, was at somewhere around 336, and if Bernie had made an out there, they would have been tied. I think that keeps him ahead going into the last day. Soho's first at bat, and he spanks a single to right. Leday will reach third easily. And the Yankees with a chance to add to their 3-0 lead, have runners at the corners with nobody out.
I tell you what, you leave a pitch out over the plate for Louis Soho early in the count, you're asking for a line drive to the opposite field. There's the pitch. Right down, another one right down the middle. I mean, that is right in his happy zone. Maybe not for power, but certainly to do what he wants to do with the ball, and he lines to the right, sends Leday all the way to third.
He steps to left and hits to right.
Yeah, he kind of opens up the right side of the field by stepping in the bucket and just kind of forcing the ball the other way.
So Leday with speed at third. Soho at first, and Tim Raines will get his first at bat of the afternoon. He'll hit for Chili Davis. Actually, he'll hit for Homer Bush, who went in to run for Chili Davis. That pitch misses for a ball. So Joe Torre making sure he gets everybody in there for an at-bat, chance in the field, just to stay active till Tuesday night. That's sliced foul. So it's 1-1 to Raines. Who is the only man to have played for both these Tampa Bay Devil Rays and the Florida Marlins? That's our Aflac trivia question, and the answer is pitcher Tony Saunders, the lefty who was a big part of the Marlins' success last year. Good fastball inside, 2-1.
Saunders got a start in the World Series last year against the Cleveland Indians.
His hero was responsible for shutting the Mets down this afternoon. He was a big Tom Glavine fan. Glavine, Denny Nagel, Kevin Millwood all helped to shut out the New York Mets today 4-0. That pitch fouled straight back, 2-2, and the Giants defeated the Rockies. Cubs are tied at 1. Sammy Sosa due up in the 8th inning when the Cubs come to bat. Just off the corner, and the count is full to Raines. Yankees looking for their 113th win, and for our St. Louis audience, they have seen a record broken this year. I really believe that the home run record will be broken again before this single season win mark that the Yankees have established. It's been around for 44 years. Raines draws a walk. Well, we're not covering any of the post-game action
on MSG, but after the game we'll be able to. You can watch MSG Network for in-depth Yankee post-game coverage throughout the playoffs and the World Series. You can turn to MSG immediately following every Yankee playoff game, and we'll be there to break it down for you, pitch by pitch, game highlights, a lot of reaction from the locker room. It's the Sports Desk Special Playoff Edition, and it features the Jeep post-game report on MSG Network. And what could be a better situation for the fans that have stuck around here than to see Shane Spencer come to the plate with the bases loaded, nobody out, against hard-throwing Roberto Hernandez. Mike Lowell goes in to pinch run for Raines.
They kind of kidding with Rock, went up there, drew a walk, out of the ball game.
Yeah.
And that's something you don't see very often, somebody running for Tim Raines.
Isn't that the truth? Here he is, the man of the month, man of the week, Shane Spencer. That's the third time since his call-up that he has actually swung and missed a pitch. He has been right on everything.
He was on that one, except the fact that it was out of the strike zone. It was a ball.
Oh, and 2.
Might have chased another one that was a little low. This is some hard sinking stuff. HSS from Roberto Hernandez. He's made his best pitches to Shane Spencer. Best pitches this inning.
Did he check in time? Yes, he did, said Tim Cheetah, the first base umpire. 1 and 2. He's got the fans on their feet. He has 2 grand slams already in his rookie season. That ties Yogi Berra. Yogi also did it, but no Yankee rookie has ever hit 3. Would see some more history. Two and 2. Joe Torre pondering, I'm sure, where Shane Spencer will fit into the postseason plans. Yankees won't see any left-handers if Texas is their opponent. It'll be all right-hand starters. Got him. Spencer down on strikes on what appeared to be a good breaking ball from Hernandez, and that's the first out of the inning.
So after all those pitches, you had a feeling that a slider was going to show up somewhere, and maybe it wasn't the best slider, but it was the first one. It was kind of up, but it was away towards the outer half of the plate. And Spencer, who hadn't seen one, swings and misses for strike 3.
But as Spencer strikes out, this at-bat becomes a key at-bat for Scott Brocious. He is sitting on 98 RBIs. And Joe Torre would love to give him enough at-bats to keep the average at 300. It's at 302 right now, and reach the 100 RBI mark. He's already set a career high in RBIs. Blocked by Flaherty. The runners will hold, and it's a ball and a strike to Brocious. Scott had a year with the Oakland A's where he hit 22 home runs, so he probably will not get his career high home run total. A little easier to hit him in Oakland than it is in Yankee Stadium, and she wants a closer look at this record-setting Yankee team.
He's up there now. He knows exactly how many RBIs he has.
I think he's known for quite a while.
Yeah, well, of course, but now he knows that those guys are out there.
All right. Late on the pitch, 1 and 2.
Kind of a hanging slider, fouls it off.
Sitting on 98. Soho got a single. Lowell went into pinch run for Tim Raines. And with day over at third, Yankees have him loaded with just 1 out.
That gets by Flaherty. Not far enough for any of the runners. They all react in time to retreat. Ledet thought about it, but Flaherty got enough glove on it to keep it from going to the screen.
Here's another look at it, and might have been a slider that he held on to too long and between the legs of Flaherty, but as he said, he got a piece of it, slowed it down just enough, hit that left shin guard. No advance by the runners.
Foul tip at the plate. 2-2 to Brocious. Well, let's give you a quick update. The Cubs have taken the lead over the Astros 3-1. Giants already won. Mets lost. So Cubs hang on there. It would be the Giants and the Cubs going into the last day with a one-game lead. Sosa was due up in the 8th inning. And if he would have hit a home run, you know we'd have heard about it by now. But the Cubs did score 2, so he may have been a part of that. I think he did. Yep, Tim Cheetah said yes, he did. He tried to hold up, and Hernandez now with the bases loaded, no out situation has back-to-back strikeouts. He's 1 out away from getting out of it.
I don't know what Larry Rothschild told him, but whatever it is, he kind of settled him down, and he's throwing better fastballs with more movement. That one kind of darting in on the hands as Brocie's trying to hold up. This would be more of a definitive angle, and yep, he did go too far for the strikeout.
That'll bring up Joe Girardi. Towards second base. Looks like the Devil Rays are going to get out of it, and they do. So the Yankees get them loaded with nobody out. Can't convert, so they'll take a 3-0 lead to the 9th and try to preserve David Cohn's 20th win. Back after this. We head to the top of the 9th inning. Again, David Cohn looking for his 20th win. 7 brilliant innings of pitching. We remind you tonight, coming up at 10:30 on MSG, Deb Kaufman delivers the latest news, scores, and highlights from the local sports scene on the full 30-minute edition of the National Finance Sports Desk. And then later you can keep informed on the entire world of sports with Fox Sports News. That's tonight at midnight right here on MSG. All the National League wild card races will be updated. Chad Curtis in the game in center field now as Bernie Williams got his base hit, came out of the ball game. Ricky Ledet takes over at left. And Joe Torre will go to his bullpen and bring in Mike Stanton to face Fred McGriff. Situational moves here the last few games for Joe Torre, trying to simulate playoff situations as much as he can for his pitchers. And this would be the type of situation it might be for Mike Stanton come Tuesday night, say with Will Clark or Rusty Greer at the plate. Or Jim Thome if the Indians don't win tonight and assure themselves the home field advantage. Last report we heard, the Mariners were defeating Texas. Mariano Rivera getting loose. Maybe he'd come in and get an out or two. In fact, I think with David Cohn's 20th win at stake, I think Joe Torre is going to have Stanton against McGriff, and then Rivera will come in and try to save it. Outside, ball 1. Gives you an idea of the stuff David Cohn has. Fred McGriff struck out twice against Cohn. That's high, 2-0.
Cohn with a total of 8 strikeouts in 7 innings and just 4 hits.
Yeah, I think that coming back on the 6th day, the last couple of starts this late in the year, David hasn't pitched 200 innings since 1993. McGriff swings at the 2-0 pitch, fouls it straight back, so it's 2-1. I think that kind of freshened up his arm a bit, because his stuff, you can never tell for sure on television or where we're sitting, but it sure looked as sharp as it's been in a long, long time. In for a strike, 2-2 to McGriff.
Girardi's sitting right on the corner, and that's where the ball is. Low and away on the corner to Fred McGriff. If other pitchers would have done that more often, he wouldn't have 358 homers.
Well, Stanton did it twice in a row. So that's the hat trick for Fred McGriff. Cone got him twice, and Mike Stanton comes back after falling behind 2-0.
Not much you can do about this. This was up a little higher than the other one. Tried to check his swing, but it's on the corner anyway. Look at the target by Girardi. The middle part of his chest protector is right on the outside corner. You can see where the pitch is. Man, sometimes you just go sit down, you know.
So he got his former teammate out. They used to be with the Atlanta Braves together. He did his job. Mariano Rivera coming in to try to get the last 2 outs. Back on MSG after this. As the Yankees prep for the postseason on the Daily News Baseball Playoff Preview. That's tomorrow night at 11 o'clock exclusively right here on MSG. Kenny, in 1996, the signature, the strength of the Yankees was their bullpen, and that's when Mariano Rivera was a setup. He was almost like an everyday player. He'd come in 3-4 days a week, and they had John Wetland at the end of the ball game. But this year's bullpen, stepping it up like they did in 1996, 101 leading after 8 innings. That is remarkable. Something else I'll quickly tell you that's remarkable. Mark McGwire's hit his 68th home run as Rivera throws the fastball into Bubba Trammell, fouled out of play. As you look at the rest of Mariano's numbers.
Well, no team this century has gone through an entire season, losing fewer games under these circumstances.
Just another in the long list of records this team has accomplished. And as Paul O'Neill said on our scorecard show, when Al Trautwig told him he was selected our Yankee of the Year, as you look back, that's hit well out in the gap. Curtis looking up, that's off the wall. Trammell is going to have a 1-out double. When this Yankee team looks back at what they've accomplished, regardless, there's the reaction from the crowd going up as the scoreboard indicates Mark McGwire has hit number 68. Takes Bob Davidson off the hook, the second base umpire in the Milwaukee series. That took what appeared to be a home run away from him, calling fan interference.
Well, the fans might be wondering, what was the game that the Yankees lost when they had the lead after 8? It was back on May the 14th against the Texas Rangers when they blew a 5-0 lead.
There's Paul Sorrento, first pitch swinging, strike one.
The game went into extra innings, and the Yankees eventually lost it to the Rangers.
Yeah, there's no other bullpen with the veterans that the Yankees have. Mike Stanton, Jeff Nelson, and Graham Lloyd, as well as Ramiro Mendoza, who has pitched so effectively to set up Mariano Rivera. And that's a pitch that he's added this year. He got the last out of last night's ball game. You call it a cutter, but it's just a nice hard slider.
Nice and tight on the inner half. The hitter thinks it's a fastball, so he starts the bat, and just as you do, whoop, it's not there.
That was called a hard slider for years. Nowadays they call it a cutter. There's another one, but Sorrento laid off 1-2. So Mariano, in his days as a setup man in '96, was primarily just a fastball pitcher. Now he's been able to add a couple of new wrinkles to make him just as effective. In on the hands, popped up and appears to be playable. Girardi is there, and he makes the grab.
Well, that's generally true. When you get older and wiser, you add a couple of wrinkles.
Good point. I don't think David Cone has added any wrinkles as we look at the second out.
Off the bat, Girardi right away finds out where it is. Watch him get rid of the mask in the other direction. And there's the out. I think there's nothing more embarrassing for a catcher to come back on a foul ball and step on his own mask. So that's why the catcher goes in one direction while the mask is going in the other.
And Rich Butler represents the last hope of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. David Cone hasn't added any wrinkles, but he's added a little pitching ability to go with that good stuff. He is 1 out away. The Yankees are of David Cohn's 20th win. It would be 10 seasons between his 20 game seasons, and that's an all-time record. 0-2.
Passing up the legendary Jim.
Legend in his own mind. Well, we say goodbye to the St. Louis audience. Will be with us for just a bit longer as they can appreciate the Yankee Stadium fans here urging on the Bombers to get their 113th win. Toward third base. This would be a tough play for Brocious. No chance to get the speedy Rich Butler. And that prolongs the inning and will give Miguel Cairo a chance to come to the plate.
Butler kind of a squibbler off the end of the bat and near the bag, and Brocious does the right thing. Just holds on, checks the runner at second just to see if he can get him. But now there's 2 on and 2 out. Butler has 2 hits.
As does Miguel Cairo. Low ball 1. Yankees with their 41,000 plus now have gone over the 2,900,000 mark. Come up a little short of the 3 million total. When the day is finished tomorrow. 2-0 to Cairo. A little speed bump here in the 9th inning, and moving on deck is Mike Kelly for the Devil Rays. That's in for a strike. They have liked what they've seen from the bullpen and their starters in the last week of the season. And Cairo draws a 2-out walk. Not a save situation for Mariano. Stanton got the first out. You have to pitch 1 complete inning with a 3-run lead. Now Jose Cardinal will position the outfielders here as Mike Kelly will come up. You'll see the outfielders move to prevent defense. They want to keep that runner on first from scoring on any hit, so you can see them back up a little bit.
Moving Shane Spencer back in right field a couple of steps.
Mike Kelly, outstanding college player, a Golden Spikes Award winner at Arizona State, the best college player in the nation. Good swing there and fouled it straight back.
Think of some of the players that have actually won that award. It's been some pretty good ones. Phil Nevin won it. Catching for the Angels. Among others.
Upstairs 1-1. There's just not the same concentration, I think, when a relief pitcher comes in a non-save situation. And I think everybody on that bench pulling as hard for this win for David Cohn's 20th, more so than the team's 113th. That's in, and they're 1 strike away. Tells you the pitch was high for a ball.
Mike Kelly has somewhat of a long swing, so they're trying to tie him up, trying to keep that fastball inside. He had a good swing at that first pitch, which was out over the plate.
Count full again. Mariano having a little trouble finding his release point. Saw him go to his fingers after that pitch as if he's not getting a good grip on the ball. So now 3-2, 2 out, bases loaded, and the runners will get a head start. Lost him. Mariano Rivera has walked in a run. Wow. That might be a record.
Well, something we're certainly not used to seeing. He has a low walk total on the season, but back-to-back walks here, and the Devil Rays are on the scoreboard.
That's going to prompt a trip from Mel Stottlemyre to the mound. I mean, the Yankees just do not see this. Gives up a hit once in a while, but for Mariano to walk in a run, Mel wants to know if something's wrong. It looked like he pointed to that left shoulder. That's usually the telltale sign. He'll go out there and say, hey, you're flying open with that front shoulder, and that's why the ball's going up and in. Drive that front shoulder toward the target. So it's now a 3-1 ball game. Bases are still loaded, and the pesky Quentin McCracken steps in as Nelson and Lloyd loosen in the Yankee pen. Toward third base, Brocious. Off balance throw, got him. Nice play by Scott Brocious. And David Cone and the Yankees can celebrate. Yankees win it 3-1, win number 113. More importantly for them, David Cone. What a remarkable comeback after the shoulder surgery. Help from Shane Spencer with another home run. I think Joe Torre just said he'd like to get the lineup card or something from the umpires, maybe a memento for David Cone. Caps off a remarkable season for the veteran right-hander. Yep, they broke their own record that they set last night. So the Yankees celebrate their 113th win. 7 innings of shutout pitching by David Cone. Goes shaky in the 9th inning, but Mariano Rivera recovered to get the last out and preserve the 3-1 win.
Good play at third because McCracken can pick him up and lay him down going down the line. Scott Brocious, well, he knew he only had one play across the diamond just in time to get McCracken for the final out. You can see Joe Torre's reaction, and yeah, it's in the bag. Number 113. Yankees win by score 3-1. Watch McCracken going for all he's worth. The throw will beat him by an eyelash, and he's out of there.
So we say goodnight to our St. Louis audience. Thank you for being with us here on this Saturday afternoon. We'll be back on MSG with all of our post-game coverage. Yankees win it 3-1. We might get a chance to talk to the 20-game winner. Back after this. Saturday afternoon in the Bronx. And the Yankees won it today 3-1. And they got the help from Shane Spencer. Let's take a look at our Dodge drive of the game.
Well, it came in the third inning. Shane Spencer was leading it off. Looked like a changeup from Terrell Wade, and he drives it well beyond the fence in left center field. His 9th home run of the year, and that was our new Dodge drive of the game. That gave the Yankees their first run.
And let's check out the rest of the game summary brought to you by Jeep. David Cone's 20th win this year, and was he sharp for 7 innings. Set an all-time record now. 10 seasons between his two 20-game seasons. 3 runs, 12 hits, and no errors. Home run also by Tino Martinez, his 28th of the year. And all in all, except for just a little bit of a speed bump there in the 9th inning by Mariano Rivera, it's the first run the bullpen's given up in quite some time, but still a a very pleasing day, I think, for Joe Torre.
Yeah, first of all, they got some power from Shane Spencer and Tito Martinez, some good pitching from David Cone. I think that was paramount right there to see what he would be like. And 8 strikeouts in 7 innings. And as you mentioned, being backed off twice within the past couple of weeks to 6 days of rest, I think that will help him going into the postseason. He looked like he had a booming fastball this afternoon and also had the good control of all of his breaking pitches, and it looks like he is right on for the postseason.
Yeah, if we, I hope we get a chance to talk to David Cone down in our studio. If we don't, certainly on our post-game coverage, we will get some comments from him as to whether or not that backing off to the 6th day did help him a great deal. Now, Texas was trailing when we finished our game right here, and if Cleveland wins tonight, that'll mean the Yankees will face the Texas Rangers. It'll be David Wells, and how about Mel Stottlemyre? He's going to be in a position to watch his son Todd pitch against the Yankees.
He's going to be torn because going back to the regular season, that same thing came up, and he was torn that particular day. How about a playoff situation where, of course, he wants the Yankees to win, but I guess he doesn't want to get his son roughed up at all.
I think, Kenny, that there's you never know in postseason, but I think the Yankees have to feel good about if they play the Rangers. They got 3 right-hand starters that are very, very similar.
Well, the Yankees have handled just about everybody this year. Their toughest outing was against the Angels, when the only winning record against the Yankees is Anaheim. So I would think they would feel comfortable, because what happens is you can set your lineup and keep it that way for 3 days in a row. You win the first one, you come right back with the same guys, and maybe the next guy's on that 3rd day.
Of course, fans might be disappointed, because I don't think Shane Spencer will be in there against those right-handers. Well, David Cone, congratulations on win number 20. He's sitting in our studio right now with Al Trautwig. Al?
And David, Jim, and Ken offer their congratulations. And guys, if you want to know if it means anything to win 20 games after a 10-year difference, the hugs in the clubhouse, your face, I think, say it all. Why don't you just tell me what's going through your mind?
Well, it's pretty nerve-wracking at the end there, but it's just incredible. I mean, I started out the year, I was kind of joking about being the 5th starter and come full circle. And, you know, the best hug of the day was from Girardi, from Joe,
and
my
he handed you the ball, didn't he?
Handed me the ball, yeah.
You have a special bond with him, don't you? I mean, that's the one that really counts, right?
Yeah, he cares. You know, he wanted it probably as much as I did today. So, you know, he's the one that's really got me through a lot of tough times this year.
David, what about this do you think, you know, makes it edgy for you, gets the emotions in you? Is it the fact that it's been 10 years? Is it the surgery? Is it the contemplating that you don't know how much time is left? Is it that it was a great season, or is it just all that stuff?
It's a combination of all of them, but certainly what I've been through the last 2 years, going through the aneurysm and going through shoulder surgery again last year, and not knowing if I was going to be ready this year. People were talking about May or June, and to be ready on time this year was my first goal, and to stay healthy the entire year was my second. And you know, I never thought 20 wins would be part of the equation, but you know, when it came today and when I got into that 9th inning, I didn't think I'd react this way, but it meant a lot.
Well, they say when you're emotional, all you have to do is think about baseball to get your mind off of it. So why don't we do that? We've got some pitches in, man. It looked as though everything you wanted to throw today, you were able to throw.
Yeah, we really got it working early. Joe did a great job of framing some pitches there and getting me some calls. And, you know, even when I shake off Joe, he seems to go right to the sign I want to throw. And there's a real chemistry there. And, you know, I was really appreciative to him. I think, you know, I can't reiterate just when he came in and gave me the ball after the game and giving him a hug, he's the guy that's been there for me all year.
Mm-hmm. Now, of course, Mariano made it a bit different there at the end to make it just a little bit more edgy for you. But bigger picture, this is about making sure you're ready for the first round and that start in Game 3. Are you totally where you want to be?
Yeah, I feel good about today. I think, you know, I've kind of been inconsistent lately and through August and even into September, even though I had a pretty good game against Pedro in Boston. But it's nice. It's a nice feeling to finish on a good note. And, you know, I've had 6 days rest going into today, or 7 days rather, and I'll have a full 6 days going into my 3rd start.
Now, there was one moment early in the ball game when the entire stadium went, oh, no. I mean, you took that ground ball off your chest. What happened? Did it just take the wind out of you?
Yeah, it really did. It was a pretty good shot, one hopper. And, yeah, it really knocked the wind out of me immediately. And, you know, I had trouble breathing right there. And when you get hit in the ribs, you kind of worry a little bit. You might get a cracked rib, and then that could be devastating. But fortunately, it wasn't. It was just tough to get my breath right there.
So no problem after that?
No, I really didn't feel it the rest of the day. I'm sure I'll feel it tomorrow, right. But for the most part, you know, I came out okay.
How about a statement about how the team is playing? Because I think that the team overall looks extremely sharp. I mean, it's amazing what that one night in Tampa and that meeting with Joe Torre after the game did for this team.
Well, he let us know, and Joe rarely displays that kind of emotion, but when he did, I think he got our attention, and it was embarrassing. I think he was embarrassed, and you know, it's one thing to kind of rest some starters and maybe kick it down a gear, but it's another thing to go out there and not play well and get embarrassed.
10 years between 20 games. You now break the record that Jim Cott held. He did it after 8, and he said that it meant a lot to him because people in baseball thought he may be done. He thought he may be done, and then he said to everybody, hey, I'm not finished yet. You send out a pretty big statement with 20 wins, don't you?
Yeah, I guess you do. I mean, you know, I went into this day sort of thinking, well, I'm not going to let this season diminish if I don't get 20. I mean, I had 19 wins, but when you get that 20th, it does make a statement. You know, I think people kind of wrote me off a little bit earlier this year and wondering, you know, if I could come back. So it's very gratifying right now.
Well, people who know David Cone care about him an awful lot, so a hearty congratulations to you. Thanks, for 20 wins. Well earned this season, and what an amazing season. He wasn't supposed to be ready until May. He started the home opener here at Yankee Stadium and thus began a 20-win season. The Yankees win it. They're up to 113. Deb Kaufman's at the Garden.
Final score, the Yankees win it 3-1. David Cone with his 20th win. Coming up next, our Jones' 20th win. He certainly was looking for it. Happy day for the fans. More than 41,000 in attendance today. An effective 7 innings of work. And Shane Spencer rubbing that good luck bat added to it with a home run. For Eddie Caginelli and Leon Schweier, from our partner Ken Singleton, our entire crew, it's Jim Cott saying so long from the stadium. Thanks for being with us on David Cone's memorable 20th win. Good everyone. Postgame coming up next.
Shane Spencer is at 9, but the emotional number of the day is the 20 next to the name of David Cone. The Yankees hang on. Mariano Rivera, a little rocky in the 9th, but good enough they were to take number 113 in the season of 1998. The winningest American League team in history goes one more. 3-1 the final score here in the Bronx. Better than 40,000. Nighttime now as this crowd saw a little bit of everything. If you came to Yankee Stadium today and you were a Yankee fan, you thought, boy, wouldn't it be really great if Shane Spencer could somehow keep doing his thing? And maybe one of the Yankee mainstays, like a Tino Martinez. Well, if he did something great, that'd be neat, too. And then David Cone, who's been such a huge part of sports in New York for such a long time. Man, for his season, if he could somehow... Cone was. Check him out against Fred McGriff. I don't think so. How about Paul Sorrento to end the 2nd inning? Not this time. It curls over the outside corner. Bottom of the 3rd. It was time for the man. Oh, yeah, he got all of it. Into the Tampa Bay Devil Rays bullpen. His 9th, Shane Spencer, giving the Yankees the early lead at 1-0. Bottom of the 4th. It's Tino's turn. His 28th round trip of the season. He crushed that ball, 2-0 Yankees, so that's your game-winning, deciding run right there. Good Yankees defense here, a little luck too. Runner at 3rd, little bloop to Knobloch. They're going to try to nail the runner. Girardi's so smart, fundamentally perfect. To Brocious just at the right time. That prevents what should have been a run. Bottom of the 5th, Derek Jeter grounds a double down the line in left field. Joe Girardi had a hit before that, so he comes around to score, and it's 3-0. Now we go back to David Cone, still strong in the 7th inning, striking out Rich Butler on a splitter. That was it for David Cone. Handshakes then, hugs later in the Yankee clubhouse as the Yankees came off the field. Mariano Rivera finally got this one to end, but it took a little special play, like a gold glove special, from Scott Brocious to end the ball game. That after Mariano Rivera had walked in a run with the bases loaded. Most unusual. A huge day, speaking of unusual, for Mark McGwire. He has hit number 67 and 68, plus the Mets highlights, which weren't so happy. Deb Kaufman will have those. Here on the G Post-Game Report, where the Yankees have taken the Tampa Bay Devil Rays 3-1. David Cone is 20-7. It's been 10 years since he won 20. Quite an achievement, as you saw. He was very emotional. It'll be interesting to hear what the manager of the Yankees has to say. His team just keeps on winning. And that's perfect for the postseason right around the corner. Here's Mike McCabe.
Was that a little nerve-wracking in the 9th inning? Yeah, it was. I mean, you know, you hate to let that 20th victory get away when you're so close to it. You know, Mo had good stuff. The only thing, you know, walking Kelly was the only thing. Otherwise, you know, I thought he was fine.
Why would he? I mean, I've never seen him walking a guy. I don't know if he's ever done it. Why was he wild?
Well, I think he just tried to overthrow. I think, you know, it's funny when you're coming in for, you know, winning the game is more important for David Cone than it is for our record. You know, I think sometimes those types of things put more pressure on you than when you're out there just trying to win for the team.
Joe, when you're fiddling with your rotation in the winter, Do you think David Cone even has a chance at 20 coming off surgery?
Oh, hell no. I mean, you don't figure he's going to really be available on a regular basis that early for us, and you know, for him to accomplish what he did this year, I think it's remarkable.
Shane Spencer, another home run. Is he playing his way into a starting role in the playoffs?
Well, we have a little ways to go before we make that decision, but I know one thing, that he's you know, he's doing a nice job, and he seems to have a way about him that, you know, he knows what he's doing.
And then Tim Raines pinch hits. How did he come out of that? He walked, but
he's fine. Tim Raines, you know, it bothers him really doing the off stuff. You know, if he just jogs around and stuff. But when he runs hard, it doesn't bother him. And he hits, it doesn't bother him. I think it was basically that he was more concerned that it was more than it was. So, you know, I think he's assured now that, you know, he can't hurt himself. And I think we're over the hump on that.
Time now for the Clubhouse Report. Tickets early in the afternoon outside the stadium. Boy, you had to see David Cone. You had to see David Cone. I mean, it was so great to see an athlete who cared so much, and it really obviously meant something special. And he said his dad was here, so a great day for him.
You know, what was really weird is that after he lost the last 2 games, or didn't get the victory in the last 2 games, there was some talk about he might not get enough innings to get a win on this game, according to how Joe Torre spaced out the rotation for the playoffs. And, you know, after that last game, he said, I don't deserve it. I've had my chance, and if I don't get the 20th win, I have nobody to blame but myself. And the funny thing is his teammates are blaming themselves because they didn't feel they scored enough runs for him, and they cost him the Cy Young Award. And I know that Graham Lloyd is really upset with himself because he let a tying run in a game that Cone would have gotten the win. So this is a team that loves David Cone. They rally around him. He is like the lightning rod in that clubhouse. And it's funny because the last time he won 20 games, 1988 with the Mets, he was a little bit of a wild child, and now he is the elder statesman in that clubhouse, and everybody looks up to him.
Now, there were a lot of Yankees who were already in the clubhouse, so they were all watching the end of the game, which was pretty wild, actually. And Bernie Williams had gotten a hit just prior to that, so Tino came out, and as Bernie was going to the weight room to do his post-game workout in the 9th inning, Tino came out and said, way to go, Bernie. You know, so they're aware of Cone, they're aware of everything that's on the line, the record they became very well aware of, and they're aware of Bernie chasing tomorrow Mo Vaughn.
Yeah, Bernie's chasing Mo Vaughn. They would love to have Scott Brosius stay over 300 and get over 100 RBIs. He needs 2 more for that. Bernie Williams would also like to get 4 more ribbies to have 100 RBIs in 2 straight years where he's missed 30 games. That would be big for him as well. And they really want to see Raines and they want to see Strawberry play a full game, but nobody knows exactly who the Devil Rays are going to start tomorrow. They would hope that it's not a left-hander.
Now, we know the matchups in the pitching rotations, and when David Cone starts, Joe Girardi will be behind the plate. Today, he was involved in the offense, and as David Cone said, gave him the most important hug in that Yankee clubhouse. Here's Mike's conversation with him.
How much better and what did he do different this game than he had the previous 2 where he didn't seem like he was that sharp?
Well, I think the biggest thing is he relaxed a little bit more today. I think he put a lot of pressure on himself the last couple of times out. He hit all his spots. I mean, he made very few mistakes today, and even some of the hits they got were good pitches.
I always wondered, Joe, obviously the 20th win is very important for Cone. You guys have clinched everything, and you head to the playoffs on Tuesday. The 20th win, is it important for the other guys as well for Coney to get it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's, you know, we haven't scored a lot of runs those last few starts, and it's been frustrating, you know. He has a chance to win Cy Young, and it's great for him. I mean, he's a leader in this clubhouse, and you know, I think the guys in this room want to do everything they could to get his 20th win, and I think that's why you saw us make some mistakes on the bases. We were a little bit too aggressive.
How strange was it to see?
All right, we will get back here to the Jeep post-game report at Yankee Stadium, and we'll talk about who's pitching when and the matchups with the Texas Rangers. That'll be Tuesday night here in the Bronx. Yankees 3, Devil Rays 1. Back after this on MSG. We're back on the Jeep post-game report here on MSG. The Yankees hearing big roars today in the stadium for their 113th win. And Mike, before today's game, Joe Torre, and while I think everybody had an idea what it was going to be, said how his rotation would be one way. And then during the game, we found out how the Texas Rangers had stacked their rotation. So game 1, it's going to be David Wells against
Todd Stottlemyre.
Right.
But you know what's shocking to me? I think the Yankee rotation was not a surprise. We pretty much guessed that this is the way it'd be. Wells, Pettit, Cone, and then Hernandez. But I cannot believe the Texas Rangers said, well, forget about beating out the Indians. We'll take on the Yankees as long as we have our pitching set up. Stottlemyre was supposed to start today, and they started the left-hander out of the bullpen, Eric Gunderson. I cannot believe that they'd rather play the Yankees and not have the home field advantage than play the Red Sox with 3 games in Texas. It doesn't make sense.
Unless you think that in a short series you can do something that you might not do in a longer series. Because in a longer series, usually the better team wins out.
That's a true story, but you'd also want the 3 games at home. I think that's more important than worry about the shorter series. You can also do that same short series thing against the Red Sox, and you have 3 games at home. So it really doesn't make sense why it did it that way, and I think the matchups work out great for the Yankees. I think David Wells, second game is going to be Pettit against Telling. The third game is going to be David Cone against Aaron Seeley, and then Hernandez against Burkett.
Right.
So I think those are pretty fair matchups for the Yankees. They don't win the series, they don't win the series. Didn't mean it means that they didn't get any hits, but I think the Yankees are set up pretty good, and I'm really surprised the way the Rangers did it. And that's not a Johnny Oates decision. That's got to be an organizational decision. You don't sit down and go, we're not going to start Stottlemyre today. You know, you've got to have it sit down with the Doug Melvin, the GM, and the owner, and they decided we'll take on the Yankees.
All right, Tuesday night when the game is over, click on MSG, and we'll have all the usual post-game coverage you've become accustomed to. We'll hear from the manager. We'll hear from players. Mike will analyze, and I'll do some stuff, too. It's the New York City Marriott's Yankee scorecard tomorrow at 1. Yankees Devil Rays in the final game of the 1998 regular season. Deb Kaufman has the National Finance Sports Desk at 10:30 tonight. Mike, are you finally on?
No.
Oh.
Tomorrow, though.
What's up with these guys in Hollywood? Coming up next, it's Metro Stars at New England. They've got a new coach just before the playoffs. Most interesting. Smart play by Joe Girardi. Scott Brocious preventing an early run, but this day belonged to David Cone. After 10 years of not winning 20, he's got it, and it meant a lot. Eddie Casanelli produced it. Leon Schweier directed it. Andrew Braun had the replays, and Bob Luani had the graphics.